इंजन वाली है और सबसे लंबी है। ये अपने आप में भारत के वैज्ञानिक, भारत के इंजीनियर्स, भारत के इनोवेटर्स, भारत के उद्यमी, भारत के श्रमिक, ये जो एक लक्ष्य लेकर के देश के लिए जी रहे हैं, देश के लिए काम कर रहे हैं, उसी का परिणाम है। साथियों, हम भली भांति जानते हैं और पूरी दुनिया चिंतित भी है। लगातार कहीं न कहीं युद्ध की स्थितियां बनती रही है। पश्चिम एशिया के युद्ध के कारण भारत जैसे देश जो एनर्जी के लिए औरों पर डिपेंडेंट है, उनके लिए ये पश्चिम एशिया का युद्ध एक बहुत ही बड़ा संकट का कारण रहा। पेट्रोल, डीजल, एलपीजी, फर्टिलाइजर, केमिकल्स, यानी हर विषय में अनेक बाधाएं, अनेक संकट आए। उसके बावजूद भी भारत 7.7% के ग्रोथ से दुनिया की मेजर इकोनॉमी में सबसे तेज गति से आगे बढ़ने वाला देश बन के रहा। ये भारत के सामर्थ्य का परिचायक है। भारत किस प्रकार से उत्साह और उमंग के साथ नई ऊंचाइयों को पार करना चाहता है, उसकी इसमें एक झलक है। और ऐसे में जब ये मॉनसून सत्र आरंभ हो रहा है, देश ने स्पीड पकड़ ली है और संसद का स्पिरिट उस स्पीड में नई ऊर्जा भर सकता है। सकारात्मक स्पिरिट राष्ट्र के लक्ष्यों को प्राप्त करने के लिए बहुत आवश्यक होता है। हमारे सदन में बहुत अनुभवी सांसद भी है, दल उनका कोई भी हो, लेकिन उनके पास एक लंबा अनुभव है। ऐसे समय में उनके अनुभव की, उनके ज्ञान की संसद को भी जरूरत है, देश को भी जरूरत है। और इसके लिए संसद का चलना, सार्थक चर्चा होना, मिलजुल करके देश को आगे ले जाने के संकल्प लेना, ये मैं समझता हूं कि बहुत ही समय की मांग है। एस्पिरेशन से भरे हुए देश के युवाओं की मांग है कि हम आगे बढ़े। आज समय की मांग है कि राष्ट्र निष्ठा से भरे हुए, राष्ट्र भक्ति के लिए जी रहे आवाज को सदन में उचित मंच मिलता रहे, वे अपनी आवाज को बुलंद करे, देश को दिशा दे। और इसलिए मैं आशा करता हूं और मुझे पक्का विश्वास है, जहां तथ्य होते हैं, जहां तर्क होते हैं, वहां तूफान के लिए जगह नहीं होती है। अगर तर्क मजबूत है, तथ्य मजबूत है, तो शांत चित्त से भी अपनी आवाज को बुलंद बनाया जा सकता है। मैं आशा करता हूं तर्क और तथ्य के साथ सदन की चर्चा को समृद्ध किया जाए, हर आवाज को अवसर मिले, हर विचार को सम्मान मिले। ये संसद की हमारी भूमिका है। मैं सभी सांसदों से बढ़ चढ़ करके इस सदन में हिस्सा लेने के लिए निमंत्रित करता हूं। आज सुबह स्पीकर महोदय जी ने भी सोशल मीडिया के माध्यम से देश के सांसदों का स्वागत करने के अपने भाव को व्यक्त किया है। मैं भी उसमें अपना स्वर मिलाता हूं। आप सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। नमस्कार।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
We are over, Jimmy.
हे, लाइफ में स्क्रैचेस तो आएंगे। गाड़ी के स्क्रैचेस को तो कॉस्मो पीपीएफ संभाल लेगा, आप अपना देख लो।
अंबा शक्ति प्लांट की वर्ल्ड रेनाउंड टेक्नोलॉजी देती है स्टील को ज्यादा ताकत हर बार। अंबा शक्ति SDTMT।
जानते हैं मैं एलीट मैट्रिमोनी क्यों रिकमेंड करता हूं? 17 years of experience, largest database of elite profiles, और 100% confidentiality. Elite Matrimony, India's most successful matchmaking service for the elite.
India Inc.'s most respected names chose India Inc.'s best and brightest.
These kinds of awards from jury lineup, you are truly giving it the right weightage. I think it's heartening to see talent that there is across India Inc. We should be awarding companies and individuals who have focused not only on growth but also on bringing good governance. Be part of jury and vote on the people, the men, the women, the companies in India who have the right stuff is a great opportunity for us.
For us, the biggest thing is trust. That's what we provide.
We need leaders in India that can help take India being a global superpower.
We got a fantastic jury and we've left all decisions to the wisdom of the jury.
Hello and welcome to NDTV Profit. You are tuned in to Crypto Minutes powered by CoinSwitch for your daily dose of news and updates from me, Sharad Dubey. And let's take a look at the top headlines. Bitcoin above the support levels of $64,500 levels on consolidation. US Bitcoin ETFs extend inflow streak, adding almost $136 million of inflows. And South Korea proposes classifying crypto in national assets. Lastly, SFTC Chair Mike Selig says US has become global crypto capital. Looking at the Bitcoin levels, there is a support coming in of almost $64,500 on the consolidation. Now, range-bound move is expected as the geopolitical tensions continue to rise, but there is a little rotation happening from the Bitcoins to the altcoins, which is underway right now. The US Bitcoin ETFs have extended their inflow streak. BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust EBIT ETF has posted net creations. Now that's attracting roughly $136 million of inflows, and the Bitcoin ETF assets have risen about $77.7 billion. Also, South Korea's proposed National Asset Basic Law would formally recognize the virtual assets. This includes, of course, crypto as national assets. Now, with this, there is a real impact contingent on legislative approval and detailed implementation. This also provides better regulatory clarity for the crypto investors. And lastly, Commodity Futures Trading Commission, which is called CFTC in crypto parlance, the chairperson Mike Selig has stated that the United States has become the global crypto capital just 1 year after the Genius Act. Now, the Genius Act is nothing but guiding and establishing national innovation for US Stablecoins Act, now which has become a law last year. He credited US President Donald Trump and Senator Bill Hagerty for leadership that helped achieve this goal. And before we wrap, here's a quick check on the changes to the crypto prices over the last 24 hours. Largely, if you look at it, there is a minor correction in Bitcoin, but the money or the volumes have shifted to the other coins, altcoins also. This includes Ethereum, Solana, Tron, slightly up going ahead, but a very tight support and resistance range between that $63,000 to $66,000 mark when it comes to Bitcoin. Now let's look at the crypto strategy for the day. Here's what's there to keep in mind for you. The sentiment is shifting from fear to optimism, but it's going to be a range-bound reaction, especially for Bitcoin, because we are seeing some movement happening in the altcoins, the range which we discussed between that $63,000 to $66,000. But remember, there are two triggers which you should be tracking. The first is the geopolitical tensions, how that is developing, and the Clarity Act. That also remains a key trigger. Now, the rise in the open interest, if and when it happens, they may trigger a fresh breakout going ahead as well, because the ETF flow support is there right now in Bitcoin as well. So as we wrap, remember you can reach out to CoinSwitch's dedicated helpline where anyone can connect with the in-house experts to get their queries resolved, whether it's about crypto, regulations, taxation, or the broader industry. The team is available to provide guidance and help users make informed decisions. Well, that's all on this edition of Crypto Minutes powered by CoinSwitch. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Hello and welcome back to NDTV Profit. You're watching Ask Profit, a show that solves all your stock-related queries. My name is Puneet Zaveri. With me today is Soumit Sarkar. And over the next hour or so, we'll try and solve all those stock-related queries. To do, start sending them in on the numbers that are flashing on the top of your screen right now. You can also call us, speak to our guest on those stock-related queries as well. The landline number for that is flashing up there too. But as we go through the day, you've seen two bouts on the Nifty 50 of buying from the lows, and that's something that we'll continue to monitor as we are almost 100 points down on the index today. If you also look at the heat map, it's largely dominated by the banking names as well. So pull up the heat map there, and HDFC Bank as well as Kotak Mahindra Bank and Axis Bank, those are the three ones that are the top losers for today on the back of quarterly results. You had ICICI as one of the top gainers at the start of the trading session, but that has also fizzled out. So Trent, NTPC and JSW Steel are the ones that are doing well in trade. In terms of the sectoral heat map though, the Bank Nifty and the Nifty Bank, Private Financial Banking Index, the PSU Banking Index, all three will be in focus today. And we monitor all of those. You're seeing the downtick on the Private Bank Index down 2.2%. The Nifty Bank down 1.3% at this point of time, and you're seeing a big move with the PSU Banking Index as the top gainer for trade. So you're seeing that divergence between all of the private as well as the public sector banks today. The advance decline ratio is the other interesting one. Over the last week or so has been converging, and largely the declines have been having a bigger impact compared to the advances. Today as well, they have converged through, but the advances at this point of time is at the top right now. And in terms of the final individual names as well, the BSE 500, there too you're seeing some moves coming through on the BSE 500, but in terms of Aegis Logistics, that's up 5.5%, Supreme Petro, GE Shipping, some of the other ones that are doing well. But in terms of the losers, you're seeing that impact on the banking names, and India Cement, that's also reacting on the back of results as well. You have the big Ultratech numbers coming in today, so that will be in focus as well. But let's welcome in our guest now, Gaurav Sharma, Vice President and Head of Research at Globe Capital, and Saurabh Jain, Equity Head Research at SMC Global Security, joining in as well. Gentlemen, both of you, thanks so much for joining in. And the first query, and a lot of those which are coming in on result reaction today, this one's coming in on Reliance. Sunil from Vizag is holding shares at 1300 and wants to know what he should do with his almost 100 shares that he's holding. Can he continue to hold for the long term? Saurabh, good morning. What did you make of the results? Because largely a good set of numbers, right? And we've seen that the stock react as well. Should he continue to hold?
Good morning, Puneet. Good morning, Mark. See, in my opinion, I think Reliance it makes sense to hold Reliance because, the results were better than the expectations. Some segments have grown above expectation. It is the first time that the Reliance has clocked more than 3 lakh crore in quarterly revenue. As far as valuation is considered, it is trading at the lower end, in my opinion. And I think from the long-term perspective, I think things will move, up in various segments. So as of now, it is under pressure. But for the long term, I think it is a hold.
The next query is coming in from Madhav. It's on Union Bank. He's holding 1,928 shares, bought at a price of 172.16. Can he hold for short term? Gaurav, any view on this?
Hi, Somit. A very good morning to you. Yes, he can hold on to the position. PSU banks are performing well. Union Bank has posted good set of numbers, so have PNB. It has actually set the tone. Further up move towards 178 in the immediate near term, followed by 185 odd levels can be expected for Union Bank.
Got that view, Gaurav, but and welcome to the show. The next question coming in, and this one's on the other banking name, right? HDFC Bank stocks are down almost 4% today. Our viewer is asking, if it's a good time to average out. He's holding shares at 745, asking, and this is Sanjay from Bengaluru. Saurabh, the results definitely disappointed the street, but would you recommend, Sanjay, if firstly he should add more shares, and if this is a good time, because we've seen that consolidation for a really long time at that 740 odd level. So do you think if it's a good time to add more if someone wants to add, or should he wait for some further correction?
I think it will take bank bank will take some more time, maybe few quarters to claw back to its historical, normal net interest margin. And in fact, the business growth is even weaker than the industry growth and than its peers. If you look at the Axis Bank, ICICI Bank, the business growth was quite better as compared to the HDFC Bank. Since holding HDFC Bank, I will not recommend to add more, but certainly private bank space looks good to me. And in that space, I would recommend him to add ICICI Bank in his portfolio.
Next query is coming in from Saurabh. It's on delivery. He's holding a few shares of delivery, bought at a price of 787. He wants to know the target for the next few days. The buying price seems to be quite high compared to the current market price here. Gaurav, any view here?
Somit, a bit of reversal is likely in the stock. It has corrected reasonably from its recent peak of 524. So a reversal toward 500, 510 can be expected in the immediate near term. As the query is just limited for a couple of days, I think 505 to 510 is the upside target that I'm eyeing at. Stop loss should be maintained at 465.
65 on delivery, got that view. But let's also take our first caller for today. This one's from Hyderabad. Chaitra has a stock query fast. Chaitra, good morning. What's your query?
Hello.
Yeah, hi Chaitra. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hi Puneet. Good morning. My query is regarding the Aether Energy.
Okay.
I'm holding 40 shares at an average price of 986. I partially booked some profit recently. I'm holding the rest of them. I want to know whether I can add more at these levels or should I hold it at simply like that.
Got it, Chaitra. Firstly, a good one, Chaitra, and congratulations for buying it. The trade was Saurabh. Would you recommend adding more at the current valuation? I think stocks up almost 3-4 times from its IPO price in just the last year or so. Would you recommend that, or should Chaitra just continue to hold her 40 shares?
See, if you look at the financials, the company is still bleeding. I mean, the company is in net loss. And if you sees the valuation, I think it is close, trading close to 20 times to book value. And with 50,000 odd market cap, 1,000 crore of revenue, I think it is, frankly speaking, it is too expensive. And even if the things are going to not turn around for the company, then also, in my opinion, I think the stock price are already reflecting the future forward earnings. So in my opinion, I think it is the best time to take some money off the table rather than investing more.
Next query is coming in from Ram from Hyderabad. It's on Kotak Mahindra Bank. He's holding shares of 150 shares at 349 price. Should he hold or exit? Saurabh, any view on Kotak Mahindra Bank?
There's been a pressure on the net interest margin, as we have seen after the quarterly earnings, and that is what happened with the Axis Bank too. Market is probably looking how this net interest margin correction can be, gets corrected in the future, and that is the reaction which is coming today. I think the best place to hide in the private space looks to me is ICICI Bank only. In my opinion, I think if you want to invest, go with ICICI.
It's been something I've been recommending on the show as well, Saurabh, for a while now, and definitely good set of earnings for the company. You're seeing again a 1% uptick on the counter now, so that continues to be buying from the lows. But the next question is on Techno Electric. Our viewers holding shares at 1183, holding 50 odd shares. Saurabh, largely post quarter four, stock's been in this range after that big fall. Should Harish continue to hold, and what can he expect from this quarter?
I think it is good to wait for this quarterly earnings, and after the correction in the last few quarters, now the stock is trading around 2 times to book value and 24 times to trailing earnings. I think it is good to, because it is an interesting space, I think, and it is a very old company. They have the management, and the company has many a times have beaten the expectations on the earnings sides. I think after taking cognizance of the June quarter earnings, then take a call.
Next query is coming in. Okay, the next is a caller query coming in from Andhra Pradesh. Mahesh, you can go ahead and ask your query.
Okay, actually I bought Kalyan Jewellers stocks at the price of 524.
Okay.
3,200 quantity. Can I hold or can I exit, or is there anything else? Please let me know.
Mahesh, for short term or long term?
For short term, it's 6 months.
Okay. Gaurav, any view on Kalyan Jewellers from next 6 months perspective?
The stock has rallied too very much in a very short span of time. First of all, he should take some profits off the table, as he's having reasonable quantity and he's making some decent profits as well. For the remaining, it is better to hold on with a stop at 520 and look for targets closer to somewhere close to 610.
610, got it. Well, the next counter that's in focus is Biocon. Venkat, who's from Hyderabad, wants to buy into this counter. Gaurav, I'll stick with you because, after a really long time, we've seen that 400 rupee mark being breached. Is this move expected to continue? How are you looking at the stock now?
It is pretty much likely that the stock would perform better now. A long consolidation seems to be ending, and for the better only. It has posted a fresh round of a breakout. It is better to hold on to the long position. Do take a stop at 420 for a shorter term basis. If our viewer can hold it for a little longer, I think this stock has a reasonable potential to even surpass 475, 480 zone.
Right, the next query is on Infosys. Murthy from Bangalore has bought 100 shares at a price of 1,130. Saurabh, should he continue to hold this counter for long term?
I think difficult to take a call on the Infosys, but yes, some companies have surprised positively in the IT space, though we are underweight and we are not recommending as such to invest in the IT space. But since if you wish to invest, I think HCL Tech and Tech Mahindra are the two stocks which we like.
You also have earnings from Infosys this week, and it's going to be a crucial one, definitely in terms of numbers, also in terms of commentary too. So a good reaction on Tech Mahindra post results, but that's something to watch, as Saurabh mentioned as well. But Ashok Pai from Mangalore wants a short-term view on Medi Assist Healthcare. If you can pull up that counter, and Gaurav, what are you looking at this point of time, right? Because we've seen a sideways consolidation over this past month as well as the year. It's almost down 22%. But is there any up move visible in sight?
I still don't see any comfort in this stock. Very rightly said, it is trading sideways from quite some time now. Lackluster moves, indecisive candlesticks, no strength at all. I'll rather prefer taking a bet once the stock surpasses 400, 410 zone. Then only it will hit the breakout mark, and a potential up move towards 450, 460 odd levels is possible. Until then, it is a clear-cut avoid from my side.
Next query is from Pravin from Pune. He is holding 2,400 shares of Indian Oil Corporation, that is IOCL, bought at an average price of 90 rupees. What's the view for the next 1 year on this counter, Saurabh? Indian Oil Corporation, should he continue to hold or book profits?
See, the way geopolitics situation is planning out and the crude has already started moving up close to $90 and seems this will be a longer battle. Initially, when it started in the month, towards the end of February, it was perceived it will go for 6 weeks or 8 weeks. Now we are seeing what is happening. I think the higher crude prices will be, detrimental for companies like IOC because of the, cost burden. So in my opinion, I think he has invested at a good price. Better take money off the table.
Got that view. But viewers as well as Saurabh and Gaurav, let's start the rapid fire round on this edition of the show. You both know the drill. The first question on Patanjali. Nala Mutti has been holding since the IPO at 156 odd. Saurabh, given what we've seen in terms of volatility, would you recommend him to exit or should he continue to hold?
Since he's a long-term investor, I will recommend to hold.
Next query is for you, Gaurav. It's on GAIL. Chetan wants to know the short-term view on GAIL. He's holding 105 shares, bought at a price of 189.
Hold GAIL with a stop at 165. Look for targets close to 180, 185 zone.
Also on MCX, Gaurav, a viewer, Srinivas has bought these shares at 2,900 odd, asking a 6 to 9 month view for his 500 shares.
Utilize any dip to add position till the point stock is holding above 2400 levels. It is in a sweeter spot. As of now, it is a clear cut hold.
The next query is for you, Saurabh. It's on Bharat Dynamics. Lalita from Chennai is holding 450 shares, bought at a price of 450 rupees. Should she continue to hold or sell?
If you are for long term, keep on holding.
The next one's from Murthy from Vizag. He wants to enter JK Tyres for the long term. Saurabh, should he wait for Q1 results? We've seen, CIAT reacting very negatively to those earnings misses. What's your view?
Absolutely right. Cost pressure will be same. Better to wait.
The next query is for you, Saurabh. It's on ITC Hotel. Suman from Kolkata is holding 401 shares, bought at an average price of 177. Should he exit or hold for long term?
Hold for long term.
The next one's on HG Infra. Raja has actually bought it at very elevated levels at 1488. So he's sitting on massive losses. Saurabh, should he just continue to hold right now or average down?
Don't average, but hold.
The next query is for you, Gaurav. It's on Axis Bank. Amrut wants to know whether should he buy Axis Bank at current levels.
Better to wait for some more time. Further decline toward 20 odd levels is pretty much possible.
Arcade Developers bought at 132, Gaurav, by Ramesh. He wants to know if he should still continue to hold this counter. I know a smaller name, but any view?
Better to exit. It is too small, trades at very low volumes.
The next query is for you, Saurabh. It's on Azad Engineering. Sankara Narayan wants to know whether should he invest in this counter from long-term perspective.
Elevated valuation, buy in a staggered manner.
Got it. The next one's on KPI Green. Is it a right time to invest for the short term? Gaurav, would you recommend that?
One can consider buy in a staggered manner, add once the stock surpasses 420, 425 zone.
Next query is for you, Saurabh. It's on Gabriel India. Malika is holding few shares of Gabriel, bought at a price of 360. Should she hold or book profits?
Hold for long term.
The next one's from Raghu from Bengaluru. He exited Dixon in the green, but wants to know if it's a good time to re-enter. Saurabh, would you recommend that? There's been a very sharp up move from the lows. What's your view?
Avoid.
The next query is for you, Saurabh. It's on Campus Activewear. The viewer is holding 1500 shares, bought at a price of 257. Currently sitting on a loss. Should he continue to hold or exit?
Hold till Diwali.
Okay, got it. The next one is on Nalco. Gaurav, Ramesh wants to know, he's bought at 190. Should he continue to hold?
190 is the buying price.
Yes. So he's in massive good profits right now. Should he hold or should he?
I mean, that's clearly a hold. He's a pretty long-term investor in that case. Utilize dips to add up. It is one of our preferred stocks as of now.
The next query is for you, Gaurav. It's on Lemon Tree. The Gayatri is holding few shares, bought at a price of 138. From medium term, should she continue to hold?
No, better to avoid. Switch to something like an ITC Hotels or India Hotels.
Got it. Well, that was the last question of the rapid fire. Gaurav, we'll let you go on that note. Thanks so much for joining in as always.
Thank you.
Giving us your views. Saurabh, stay on. A lot more stock related queries on the other side after this very short break.
सुपरस्टार स्टॉक्स ऑफ द डे प्रेजेंटेड बाय टाटा अजूरा, हर रास्ते का सुपरस्टार।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबां केसरी।
We are over, Jimmy.
हे, लाइफ में स्क्रैचेस तो आएंगे। गाड़ी के स्क्रैचेस को तो कॉस्मो पीपीएफ संभाल लेगा, आप अपना देख लो।
अंबा शक्ति प्लांट की वर्ल्ड रिनाउंड टेक्नोलॉजी देती है स्टील को ज्यादा ताकत हर बार। अंबा शक्ति SDTMT।
जानते हैं मैं एलीट मैट्रिमोनी क्यों रेकमेंड करता हूं? 17 years of experience, largest database of elite profiles, और 100% confidentiality. Elite Matrimony, India's most successful matchmaking service for the elite.
India Inc.'s most respected names chose India Inc.'s best and brightest.
These kind of awards and jury lineup, you are truly giving it the right weightage. I think it's heartening to see talent that there is across India Inc.
We should be awarding companies and individuals who have focused not only on growth but also on bringing good governance.
Be part of jury and vote on the people, the men, the women, the companies in India who have the right stuff is a great opportunity for us.
For us, the biggest thing is trust. That's what we provide. We need leaders in India that can help take India being a global superpower.
We got a fantastic jury and we've left all decisions to the wisdom of the jury.
Who will learn in
Welcome back. You're watching Ask Profit right here on NDTV Profits. Let's quickly take a check of the markets yet again, because on the Nifty 50 we spoke about the banking names that are continuing to dominate the headlines and the news flow, and we are in a sideways kind of momentum just above that 24,200 mark. So you're seeing in terms of contribution also HDFC Bank the biggest negative contributor at this point of time, and even those gains on ICICI are not helping at this point of time for the index currently on the Nifty 50. Look at the mid cap and the small cap too. We spoke about the individual movers at the start of the show. The mid cap index has climbed just very close to the high point of the day, up almost 0.3%. The small cap too has a similar trajectory at this point of time. So continue to monitor all of those gains right now. But let's go across and we still of course have Saurabh Jain with us to help us solve the fundamental side of the things. Let's also welcome in Krupali Nakar, independent derivative and technical research analyst, joining in now. Krupali, thanks so much for joining in. Let me go across and take the first question. This one's on Vari Energies. Kativaran from Tamil Nadu wants to know if it's a good time to enter for the long term. Saurabh, we of course seen that big announcement come through, that ALMM deferment essentially till December. Stocks recovered from the lows. Would you recommend it's a good time to enter, or would you wait for some more clarification?
I think it is good to wait for some clarification, because anyway you are investing for the long term, and I think the market's volatility and the corrections during this period will definitely give more better opportunities.
The next query is on Cera Sanitary, and the viewer is holding around 250. Okay. 250 shares bought at a price of, it doesn't, okay, bought at a price of 9,500. He's currently sitting on a loss. Should he continue to hold these shares, or do you see the share price coming back to the 10,000 level, Saurabh?
I think difficult to say, but for the long term, I think it is an interesting space. And if he remains invested, there are fair chance of seeing his buying price.
The next question, and this one, on Avalon Tech. Our viewer Sagar has bought these shares, almost 1,800 of them, bought at 400 rupees. So he's bought it at a very attractive level. Let's look at the 5-year chart, and he's bought it at the start of that move that he captured on Avalon Tech. He wants to know the future prospects of this particular counter. Now, Saurabh, definitely the valuations have caught up, but would you recommend him to just hold since he's bought it at such attractive levels?
I think it is always good to take some money off the table because the valuations are still asking on the price to book and the trailing earnings. And in my opinion, I think book some profits.
The next query is on Praj Industries. The buy price of the viewer Sunny is around 345. Should he continue to hold or average at current levels? Saurabh, any view?
I think I won't recommend to average, but at the same time, he may continue to hold.
Got that view. But the next question, and this one's on JSW Energy. Jayashree from Coimbatore wants to enter the stock right now. Is it a good time to do that? Krupali, good morning. Welcome to the show. Would you recommend that?
JSW Shell, I wouldn't recommend that to hold for a long term. If you have a profit, you can.
JSW Energy.
JSW Energy. Okay. So JSW Energy, I wouldn't recommend it to hold. She can sell it. She can book partial profits. And if she is in loss, I wouldn't suggest to average it down.
The next query is from Prabhakar Rao, and it's on JTL Industries. He's holding 235 shares. Should he hold or exit? Krupali, any view on this?
He's holding at what level? If you could give me the levels.
He hasn't mentioned the level here.
Okay, so if he is already in loss, I would again recommend it to not average it because the stock is consolidating. So it may take a time to come up. So I would suggest him to hold it if he's in loss and not average it out.
Well, the next question, it's coming in from Prashant, and he's holding on to a few names. Let me pick, because we've answered Vari as well as JSW Energy on Suzlon. He's been holding shares at 52 odd. Saurabh, should he still continue to hold this counter from the medium to long term is his question.
I think the last few quarters we have seen that the earnings have been good, but this stock is largely moving in a range. Things have been moving better for the company if you look at from the balance sheet perspective and the earning perspective. My sense it can be a good hold for the long term.
The next query is coming in from Subrata Mukherjee from Kolkata. It's on Power Grid. He wants to buy Power Grid for long term. Saurabh, should he do that?
Definitely he can buy Power Grid, but at the same time he may also choose to look at the utilities like NLC India, JSW Energy or NTPC.
On NTPC as well. Got it. Well, the next question, and this one is on NetWeb. P. Srikumar is from Hyderabad, is holding shares at 4311. So he's bought it after quite a strong up move, but should he still continue to hold, Saurabh, or sell out is his question? He is a long-term investor, but stocks run up quite a bit, right?
I think on the valuation perspective, it looks quite expensive to me, and relative to its market cap, it is a smaller company. My sense, better to avoid. Exit.
The next query is on Havells. Sunita from Hyderabad is holding 30 shares. Bought at a price of 1,150. He wants to know whether should she book profits or hold for short term. Krupali, any view on this?
Havells seems it's giving a bullish outlook, so she can hold it for a long term as well, as it's one of the very good stock for FMCG. So yeah, she can hold it and she can wait for the good profits to come.
Okay, got it. The next one's on Neel Kamal. G. Shrikant has actually bought these shares at 1,300 odd, asking what's the first target from here that he should be watching out for on Neel Kamal. The stock's trading at just around 1,500. Krupali, should he book out right now or still continue to hold?
He should still continue to hold it. I believe that it can touch R1 and R2 levels, so he should wait it.
The next query is on. The next query is on Neel Kamal. Neel Kamal is done. The next one is on Vikram Solar. Saurabh is Saurabh, your view is wanted here, and the viewer hasn't mentioned his name. Wants to know whether is it a good time, good long-term buy, Vikram Solar.
I think the way it has fallen, I think probably the why the stock has fallen so much and has come to this valuation is actually been not known. So, in my opinion, whenever this kind of things happen, there may be some kind of a problem with the company or maybe something like that. The best case would be better to avoid.
Got it. Well, another stock that's in focus today is Tata Power. Now, the company has gotten a 324 megawatt letter of acceptance from SECI. And this is a big one because almost 2,600 megawatt of pump storage facility also will be along with this order. It's a big, huge 40-year order for the company. But it's also important to get in the management's perspective as well. Let's go across to Praveer Sinha. He's the CEO and MD of Tata Power, now joining in. Mr. Sinha, very good morning to you, sir. Thanks so much for joining in. It's Puneet this side. Just if you can give us some perspective of what is the total project cost that you are looking at this point of time, as well as the funding structure that could be in place for this 324 megawatt order?
Good morning. Thank you for having me on your show. This is a 1,000 megawatt Bhivpuri pumped hydro project which we are constructing. It consists of 3 units of 334 megawatt. And the first one is tied up through the SECI bid. And what is important is this is one first large bid that has come from a government entity. And we are successful because the project is in very advanced stage. The project cost is about 6,000 crores. We typically do 75-25 debt equity. And the project is in very advanced stage of construction. The upper reservoir, lower reservoir, as well as the main plant work is progressing very well. And we expect that in the calendar year 29, this will be commissioned, all the 3 units with a gap of about 3 months. So between January and June of calendar year 29, we'll have all the units.
Got it, Mr. Sinha. We've also seen that, the pump storage order also becoming a very big opportunity. Are you also seeing that compared to say battery storage for grid scale application? Is that something that you feel can coexist, or are you seeing a bigger opportunity right now in the pump storage space?
I think the great thing about pump storage is that it has a very longer period of supply that it can do. In the sense that on average, it can do about 8 hours of supply every day, 365 days. And because it is a pumped hydro project, it has a longer life. And that's why you would see that while most of the PPAs are 45 years, this PPA is for 40 years. So there is absolute surety of supply. There is absolute one single tariff, which is there for 40 years without any escalation. So it's a great solution. And especially when today we are grappling when we have peak power requirement, and at that time we don't have so much of solar and wind. This would be very, very helpful. So it's great for the discoms, also for many of the industries and data centers who are now going for clean energy solutions. If we bundle with solar, wind, and pumped hydro, they can actually get 24 hours of clean energy.
And a very important point that you make, Mr. Sinha, as well, right? Because you are seeing both having individual applications as well as the advantages that you mentioned of PSP as well. So given that context, what is the mix of future storage additions that you expect between PSP as well as BESS at this point of time, or would there be an equal proportion? Because you're also seeing capital deployment in both those schemes. So how do you see the mix of future storage additions at this point of time?
So pumped storage is a little difficult project. It's a long gestation. You need to have adequate reservoir capacity, and also the whole process of clearances and permits is a little longer one. So we will have a challenge in terms of how many of them can come up in a given period of time. BESS is a much faster solution, but of course, BESS has much shorter duration of peaking power that it can supply, and it has also a timeline of 10 to 12 years in terms of life and replacement. So I think there will be a combination. It's complementary to each other. BESS will be used in some places, and where you need for a longer period of time storage, there a PSP will be there. And I think there is space for both of them, and it's a good solution for India, especially when we are looking at large solar and wind capacity additions.
Got that, Mr. Sinha. So, of course, it will also depend on the viability of the project, the players that are doing the project as well, and with your financial backing, that would make sense. But any kind of quantification that you can give us at this point of time, because we are looking at very long-term solutions as a country, even within this space, given that the current geopolitical uncertainty has given more impetus at this point of time to a lot of BESS as well as PSP projects. So, can we expect some meaningful storage capacity for you in the PSP space? Because you have some visibility, your current conversations on the order wins as well. So could we expect that there could be at least a 30 to 40% more focus now on PSP in terms of project or order wins, or is it too difficult right now to quantify?
No, I think there are large number of projects which are in different stages of approval, and I expect that many of them will start construction work. You will see a huge amount of capacity getting added between, I would say, 29 and 35. And we ourselves, apart from the 1,000 megawatt, will be starting work on our 1,800 megawatt Shirota project in later part of this year. So I think there are a large number of companies. The target, of course, the government has come out with is that we'll have about 35 gigawatt by 2030 and 65 by 2035. But I do believe that some of them will find a challenge in setting up these projects, considering that you need to make 2 reservoirs and the hydro plant approval process. But for companies like us who already have hydro plants, it makes a lot of sense because we already have 1 reservoir, and you need to only make 1 more settling reservoir and have a closed loop of supply of water to produce hydropower. So great opportunity for the country. And I think what I expect is there would be about 50% of storage coming from PSP and 50% from battery storage. That is the type of mix I would expect in the long term.
And thanks so much for giving us that perspective as well, Mr. Sinha. Just one final question. In terms of this particular project, the IRR as well as the return profile, is that between that 12 to 15% mark that we generally see as well over the next, of course, the timeline of the projects and giving us that perspective too?
It will be much higher than that because these projects are to that extent. More risk is there. So more risk is more reward also. And I do expect that it will be much higher returns than what is in the normal solar or wind projects.
18 to 20, sir, or will it be much more higher than that?
Very difficult, but I would say that it would be in a much higher teen range.
Much higher teen range. Got it. Well, Mr. Sinha, we'll let you go on that note. Thanks so much for joining in, giving us perspective about this big order win. Many congratulations to you as well. We look forward to our next conversation, sir. But thank you for joining in today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, that was the management of Tata Power, a big order win for the company and something to watch out for as well. But let's pull up, PNB. The stock's up almost 1.4% right now. Let's also pull up PNB because up 4.5% on the back of earnings. We also be joined by the management very, very shortly. But But Piyush is now joining us to give us some perspective of what worked for PNB in this particular quarter. Piyush, take it away.
Yeah, Puneet. Actually, PNB's results were in line, actually better than the estimates. The bank's net profit grew almost 214%. This was essentially because in same period last year in Q1 FY26, the bank had to, after the wage revision, the bank had to make provisions for it. So that is not here this quarter. So that has optically bumped up the bank's net profit. Apart from that, provisions of the bank has also fell quite sharply, and there is a decent growth in both net interest income and other income. Combined, these aspects have helped. In fact, the margins have also increased by a few basis points. Cost of funds is going down, and the lending yield rates are more or less, range bound. In terms of asset quality, also the bank's credit cost and slippage ratio has both come down. So a strong set of results for QNB in Q1. As we speak, we are joined by Mr. Amitabh Kumar Srivastava, who's the ED at Punjab National Bank. Thank you, Mr. Srivastava, for joining us. I want to start with a strong set of results. In terms of FCNRB deposits, if you can share with us how many such deposits has the bank mobilized till now, and is there any target that you want to hit?
Good morning. Just a small correction. I am Amit Kumar Srivastava.
Okay.
Not Amitabh. And second point is that you have mentioned YOY profit growth basically. So last year it was not basically the wage revision. It was basically on the old regime to next tax regime, new tax regime. So that was the major issue. So because of that, one time provision has to be made for the tax at that time. Now it is the normal one. Now coming to your FCNRB point. Basically, as far as we are concerned, we have projected that we will be raising around 2.5 billion as far as the FCNRB is concerned, deposit is concerned. And as far as OFCB is concerned, 500 million, that is 500 million we are targeting. As of now, we have raised 421 million in the FCNRB deposits so far.
And from the OFCB route, sir, 500 million is the target. How many have you raised funds through this scheme as well?
No, we are in the process basically. A lot of procedure has to be taken care of, and we are targeting that in Q3 basically. That scheme is available up to 31st December, so that we are targeting in Q3. In Q2, we are targeting FCNRB deposit.
In terms of the structure of the FCNRB scheme, are you also providing leverage to your clients? Have you set up arrangement with foreign bank for providing this additional leverage on this particular scheme which can be given? Or you're purely getting customers just through this FCNRB deposit, purely this scheme?
It is basically a mix of that. Both pure FCNR deposit as well as the leverage deposit. We are also providing a leverage on the FCNR deposit, and we are providing 9x leverage.
Right. Sure. Thank you for that. I want to understand the margins have improved for the bank in Q1. For the full year, what would be your guidance? And, when can we expect the bank to go above 3%? Because right now it's at the, mid end of that 2 to 3% mark.
As far as margin is concerned and NIM is concerned, we have grown by 3 basis points. If you see from 2.47 to 2.50 in the global NIM, and domestic NIM from 2.61 to 2.64. Earlier quarters, we were basically coming down NIM every quarter and quarter basis, but this is the reversal, and from here on there will be a positive sign. For the full year, we have already given a guidance of 2.60 to 2.70, and that we are still holding good and will be able to achieve that.
Right. Finally, I want to understand how many loans have you sanctioned, are in the pipeline when it comes to corporate loans. How's the pipeline looking like? Most of the banks have registered, good double-digit growth in corporate loans this quarter.
As far as corporate growth is concerned, loan book is concerned, we have grown by 10% YOY, and we have a pipeline of 1,38,000 crore. That includes basically major in infra, power renewable basically, and the roadside, a few in the steel sectors also, in the chemical sector also, and a few in the emerging like data center and battery storage.
Right. Thank you, Amit sir. Thank you for talking to NDTV Profit. Puneet, back to you.
Well, thanks so much for that, Piyush, and thanks so much, Mr. Srivastava, also for joining in. But viewers, it's now time for the rapid fire round to start. Krupali as well as Saurabh, keep your answers as short as possible. Also, thank you to both of you for patiently waiting by. The first question is coming in on Siemens Energy. Shrikar from Hyderabad wants to know if it's the right time to enter. Saurabh, would you recommend that?
For the long term, you can buy in a staggered manner.
Next query is for you, Saurabh. It's on Trent. Ram from Hyderabad is holding 130 shares, bought at a price of 3,000 rupees. Should he continue to hold for the next 2 years?
I think wait for the quarterly earnings and then exit.
On ITC Hotels, also Saurabh, Madhav has bought shares at 170. How did you see the results recently, and is it a good long-term bet?
It's a good long-term bet. It is a hold.
Next query is for you, Krupali. It's on GNG Electronics. Praveen from Hyderabad is holding 2,000 shares, bought at a price of 586. Should he hold or exit?
He can hold the shares. The company looks good and it can grow further. Quarter 1 revenue, quarter 2 revenue. He should look for that, and after that he can book the profits and exit.
On Poonawalla FinCorp as well, Krupali, our viewers bought shares at 470. What's a stop loss and a target that he can look out for?
Stop loss he can expect around 420. The currently stock price is trading at 463. So if Poonawalla FinCorp it's showing downturn on a technical chart. So if it touches 420, he should exit.
The next query is for you, Saurabh. It's on ICICI Pru AMC. Ishwar from Kolkata is holding shares right from the time of IPO. Should he continue to hold or exit?
You can hold for long term.
Got it. The next one coming in, and this one's from Federal Bank. Uma wants to know if she can enter for the mid to long term. Saurabh, your view?
It's a buy in a staggered manner.
Next query is for you, Krupali. It's on Clean Science. Praveen from Hyderabad is holding 66 shares, bought at a price of 790. What's the short-term view on this for the next 6 to 9 months?
Short-term view looks bearish, and the currently share is trading at 757, and he has bought it 790. So I would recommend him to exit around 720.
The next one's on between Raymond Lifestyle or Arvind Fashion. What's a better pick for the long term? Saurabh, what would you recommend?
Arvind Fashion looks better.
Next query is for you, Saurabh. It's on Gaudium IVF. Ahmed from Delhi is holding 100 shares, bought at a price of 102. Should he continue to hold or book profits?
No view.
Any view, Krupali, on Gaudium IVF?
I think he can hold this shares because it's going to increase. The market is booming of IVF market, so he can hold it.
Okay. The next one's on HDFC Life, bought at 582. Saurabh, should our viewer still continue to hold this counter for the next year?
It's a hold.
Next query is for you, Saurabh. It's on MV Photovoltaics. Vasudev from Bangalore is holding 235 shares, bought at a price of 336. Is it good to hold for long term?
Hold for long term.
And the next one coming in, and this one continues to be on CEAT. I think we discussed a little bit on JK Tires, but Saurabh, what's the view on the stock now for someone who's already holding it?
Margin pressure is there, better to avoid.
The next query is for you, Krupali. It's on Greaves Cotton. Arjit from Tamil Nadu is holding 2,400 shares, bought at a price of 235. Should he hold for the next 6 months?
Yes, he can hold it for the next 6 months.
The next one's coming in on Hitachi Energy. Is it a good bet for the short term? Krupali, would you recommend that on the charts?
Not really. For short term, not really. But yes, definitely for a long term.
The next query is for you, Krupali. It's on Bank of Maharashtra. Surya Prakash is holding 1,000 shares, bought at a price of 60 rupees. Should he book profits?
He can book partial profits.
CG Power bought at 966 by Aryansh. He wants to know about his 290 shares. Saurabh, what would you recommend?
Hold for long term.
The next query is for you, Saurabh. It's on Vedanta Limited. E. Venkatraman wants to know whether is it a good time to buy Vedanta Limited at current levels.
Metal seems to be a good place, buying a staggered manner.
Got it. Well, that was the last question of the rapid fire as well as this edition of show. Saurabh as well as Krupali, thanks so much for joining in, giving us your views across a whole bunch of stocks and spaces. But viewers, before we wrap, the credibility of any award rests on the strength of its jury. And for that, the NDTV Profit Business Leadership Awards, the selection process was guided by some of the most respected names from the worlds of business, finance, and public policy. Leading the jury is Sunil Bharti Mittal, founder and chairman of Bharti Enterprises. Joining him are Noel N. Tata, chairman of Tata Trust, Cyril Shroff, managing partner at Cyril Amarchand Mangaldas, Kiran Majumdar Shaw, chairperson of Biocon Group, Biocon Group, UK Sinha, former chairman of SEBI, Jayant Sinha, president of Everstone Group, and former Union Minister Ramesh Damani, noted value investor and BSE member, and CS Sethi, chairman of State Bank of India. Now, the jury was supported by Sanjeev Krishnan, chairperson of PwC India, and Rahul Kawal, CEO and editor-in-chief of NDTV Group, in non-voting roles. Together, this distinguished panel brought deep expertise, independent judgment, and rigorous scrutiny to identify the leaders and enterprises shaping India's economic future. Join us on July 26th as the NDTV Profit brings back the Business Leadership Awards after a 13-year hiatus, celebrating the leaders, companies, and entrepreneurs who have not only built successful businesses but have helped shape India's economic journey. Well, we'll of course see you on the 26th, but thanks so much for joining in for Ask Profit. Stay with us. KYC comes up next.
Superstar Stocks of the Day, presented by Tata Azura. हर रास्ते का सुपरस्टार.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार. विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी.
We are over, Jimmy.
हे, लाइफ में स्क्रैचेस तो आएंगे. गाड़ी के स्क्रैचेस को तो कॉस्मो पीपीएफ संभाल लेगा. आप अपना देख लो.
अंबा शक्ति प्लांट की वर्ल्ड रेनाउंड टेक्नोलॉजी देती है स्टील को ज्यादा ताकत हर बार. अंबा शक्ति SDTMT.
That are propelling India to what we call the Viksit Bharat stage. Those are demographics, democracy and digitization. These three things are instrumental in creating what we hope is a new India, a more bold India, a more braver India in the next few years.
India's unshakable news habit. NDTV.com is India's #1 English news website. India Inc.'s most respected names chose India Inc.'s best and brightest.
I'm delighted to be chairing a meeting of such distinguished fellow businessmen, bankers. It's lovely to be back on this NDTV jury. I have been a fan of NDTV for a long time.
Many of the nominees are extremely close together in terms of what they've done.
I think it's also important that how they are reshaping the industries, commercial activities which they are into. And it's a very judicious mix of people to choose from. My compliments to the team.
Who will earn India's top business honors? Find out at the NDTV Profit Business Leadership Awards.
Hello and welcome to KYC. You are watching NDTV Profit with me, Sharad Dubey. This is the show where I get you the hottest companies, interesting news-based stories, and yes, can you make alpha or not? Let's try to understand the company today which we have, but try to guess it. It's a Haryana-based solar pump manufacturer. I know there are three names coming in your mind, but I'll give you some more hints to get it. It was recently listed June 20, 2025. It's just been 1 year almost, you could say. The company has come in the market, but the stock is down 35% from IPO price. A little bit of concern, definitely, right? Also, apart from this, another hint is the beneficiary of PM Kusum scheme. I'm sure you must have got these names by now. 2 or 3 names are there. But the company in focus, and of course, recently there was an important corporate news development also, is the company in focus is Oswal Pumps. Very interesting name. But we'll try to understand, is this just a B2G play or is there something more? But why are we calling this company and why right now? First question is, of course, the recent order wins and outlook. Does it change? Is it just the Kusum 1.0 scheme or are there any more government schemes to it? Second question, the rollout of Kusum 2.0. What's the impact looking like? Will it be different this time because there were pluses, there were minuses? We'll discuss that, but shortly. Addressing the higher receivables and cash flow issue, this is what has issued the entire industry. So we'll try to understand that, and is that pressure bottoming out? Any diversification from the government schemes, and that's what the investors and the streets want to hear from the company going ahead. Any R&D, any new tie-ups, tendering. Is there a competition right now also across its organized players as well as inorganized players? That's what we'll try to understand. And of course, the guidance from the solar rooftop segment seems like there is a bullish commentary in the fourth quarter, which the company had mentioned. Apart from this, of course, we'll have the conversation with the management, Vijay Yadav, the GM Finance for Oswal Pumps, to try and understand where does the story lie for this counter. But let's understand the company itself. What does the company actually do? And is there anything much more than just the industry tailwinds? It's, of course, Haryana-based solar pump manufacturer. Also, if you look at it, the company now is diversifying into solar irrigation. So yes, there is a diversification at play, but these things take time. Also, it was listed recently, which I had mentioned you earlier. And going ahead, one more interesting snippet about the company, of course, is that it's a fully integrated provider of turnkey solar pumping system. Remember, our monsoon is uneven this year, so solar pumps are definitely necessary. Solar powered and grid connected submersible Mont Blanc pumps, technically solar pumps, just to make it simplified for you. But yes, this is the product categories. They are also engaged in electric motors and solar modules. So solar modules is, of course, an extension of their product profile. There is one of the largest PM Kusum turnkey solar pumping system suppliers. Market shares bhi dekhe to alag-alag category mein they have a significant market share. Company is listed under the Ministry of New and Renewable Energies ALMM mechanism. So this is, of course, a good important certification to have. They have a pipeline of almost 25,000 pumps and almost 1 lakh plus pumps has already been supplied from different government projects. The recent order win, which we have been talking about and we'll understand from the management, is for 10,000 solar pumps. After a long time, the solar pump order has started coming in. And remember, the PM Kusum scheme Yojana, the Indian government scheme, is there to promote the solar energy in agriculture. Little bit more details about it. It helps farmers install solar pumps, solarization and the grid connected pumps. Also, apart from this, it helps in setting up of small solar power plants. So this is the PM Kusum scheme which we are talking about. Also, this will secure reliable daytime power and generate extra income as well for the farmers. So these are the important points you should be looking at. But let's understand how the business pans out. You know, the solar and the non-solar pumps, how it is. Around 1.81 lakh pumps have come in FY26. It almost looks like even Stevens for both of these categories. And this is the story of the overall setup. But how big is the industry? The government has allocated 22,000 crore rupees for PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana. This is also one of the different you could say products which the company is focusing in. The utility scale, CNI, PM Kusum and the rooftop target, if you look at it, that's at 65 gigawatt by FY30. Interesting, right? Also, looking at the new opportunities in the solar space, where the things are looking like. So we have broken it down into rooftop solar and the utility segment, largely the up and coming tenders. This is around 1546 megawatt. Compare that, it's around 2470. The tenders which the company has participated, that's around 1311.70. So that's almost half up. Almost you could say 50 to 60% of tender participation is coming in. But let's try to understand what may work for the company. The new announcements in Kusum 2.0, is it different this time? That's the question. Second is the improvement in cash flows. Is there a turnaround at play in the Q1 numbers? If that happens, we can see a good technical rally. The company is diversifying away from B2G contracts. We'll try to understand more about it, but from the management. Also, valuations are attractive. Corrections have been there. Stock is down 35% from its IPO price. This is the reason what may work. And of course, this is the new one. PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana. This is where they are focusing on. So yes, there might be a different story at play for this counter. But what may not work? That's the problem. The rise in receivables, that's what Street is not liking it. There's a B2G risk involved, and this is a business model, inherent business model. DIs, FIs have been reducing their positions, but take it with a pinch of salt. It's just been 1 year. But yes, the numbers are there to show you. Return ratios are muted right now. And we'll try to understand when will this ROC, ROE numbers go up. The tender pricing, that's the pressure which is coming in from the industry, and that pressure, has that bottomed out or not, we'll understand. And yes, of course, there's a lack of analyst coverage as well. So these are the reasons what may not work for the company. But we have the interesting KYC ratings for you, where we judge a company in KYC. We have income statement, balance sheet, cash flow, return ratios to make it. And also, I'll give you 4 more ratings. Of course, the shareholding street trade, take things with a pinch of salt. It's just been 1 year of the listing history which company has. Valuations, we'll try to understand and compare it with its peers and the outlook itself. Short term, medium term, long term, everything for you we'll get. But let's start with income statement, what's happening here. And income statement, largely the long term ratio numbers are showing a good strength, and the way this momentum has come in, this is pretty strong. Be it PAT, be it EBITDA, be it revenue, a good growth coming in. But the Q4 numbers, a little bit of pressure was there, especially on the margins front. So this is a little bit of concern coming in, but top line and bottom line growth was there. But a little bit of margin profile change is happening in the company. And is this because of the pricing pressure? Because it was continuously going up. It seems to have moderated a bit. Net, the long-term numbers are pretty strong. Short-term, there is a little bit of hiccup. And because of that, I have given this a neutral rating when it comes to the income statement. Balance sheet, interestingly, is pretty strong. The borrowings, however, has come down from FY25. From 324 crores, it has come down to 225 crores, and it's decently managed as of now. Of course, the stretches are there in the receivables, and we'll see that in the cash flow also. But as of now, balance sheet is strong. So I'm going to give this a thumbs up as well. But let's talk about cash flows. There might be a little bit of lumpiness, and whenever a business is in the B2G segment, that is where payments at times becomes an issue. The receivables start rising, and that's why we are seeing variations in the cash flows. Look at the cash flow from operations from FY25 and look at FY26, how things are moving. So little bit of concern definitely comes in, but take things with a pinch of salt. At times there is a pressure also in the overall working ratios. Let's move on after this neutral rating of cash flows to the overall return ratios, and that is where the story seems like the pain is there. Look at that net worth returns, in 65% in March 25. Now it has come down almost half, and ROC is also the same story, almost half it has become. So concern is definitely there in the return ratios. As a long-term shareholder, you will be concerned. So I have given this a thumbs down when it comes to the return ratios. But let's look at the shareholding. Remember, only 3 quarters of data we have because it listed only in June last year itself. FISDI is something I'm watching at. Promoters haven't sold any stake, so that's a good sign. But FIs has reduced the stake from 4% coming into just 1%, and DIs also, they have taken off positions. It's at around 7%. So yes, the institutions are clearly selling. That's what we have seen over the last 2 quarters. So it's a thumbs down when it comes to the shareholding segment. Come, let's explain you the street cred, whether the stock has made money for the investors or not. From the IPO price, if you had applied, stock is down 35%. So yes, there is an issue. Also from 2025 highs, the highs which was there, we saw the entire theme doing well. From there, the correction is still down 54%. So concern is there. But from March lows, there's a kind of a recovery happening, up almost 37%. So right now,
I'll give this a neutral rating because we need to judge the company on a longer time frame. But let's get in the valuations. With this so much of sell-off happening, are the valuations turning attractive? And yes, it is. 12-month forward P ratios, how we have taken Shakti Pumps is around 26 times. KSB on the other hand, 51 times. That solar theme I'm talking about, largely you should compare the first two and it's still cheaper, almost 50% discount coming in from its peer and almost 70-80% discount from the peak of the numbers which we had seen in 2025. So right now the valuations look quite attractive for Oswal Pumps. Let's talk about the outlook. This is the last but the most important rating, the Kusum 2.0 rollout. Everybody's talking about it. Will this be different? How the timeline is looking like? And of course, company will be one of the key large tender makers here. But the pricing, the competition is still there. So that's a little bit of concern. But long term, the story is definitely very much important. They're proactively diversifying beyond the government-driven solar irrigation. So there are much more story lines which are expected to come in, but we'll try to understand that from the management. And the rooftop solar segment, those numbers have been pretty strong and important government push is coming in. So as of now, I'm going to give this a neutral rating. But let's give you the entire picture of what are the KYC ratings coming in for Oswal Pumps and where does the company stand. Of course, the balance sheet management has been strong. I've given neutral ratings for income and cash flow. Return ratios has been disappointing. So has been the FIs and DIs. There's a sell-off happening there. Street cred, let's keep it neutral right now, where the valuations are attractive because of the correction and the long-term story is very strong, but of course medium-term there is hiccups. That is why a very balanced approach in KYC rating. I've given 4 out of 8. It's largely in line with the numbers which we give for this company of Oswal Pumps. Interesting story, right? But to make the story more interesting, we'll have Vijay Yadav. He's the General Manager for Finance at Oswal Pumps. He'll be talking about these important details about the company and also explaining us that is the pressure over in the industry. So for that, stay tuned to NDTV Profit.
सुपरस्टार स्टॉक्स ऑफ द डे प्रेजेंटेड बाय टाटा अजूरा, हर रास्ते का सुपरस्टार।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबां केसरी।
We are over, Jimmy.
हे, लाइफ में स्क्रैचेस तो आएंगे। गाड़ी के स्क्रैचेस को तो कॉस्मो पीपीएफ संभाल लेगा, आप अपना देख लो।
अंबा शक्ति प्लांट की वर्ल्ड रिनाउंड टेक्नोलॉजी देती है स्टील को ज्यादा ताकत हर बार। अंबा शक्ति SDTMT।
India Inc.'s most respected names chose India Inc.'s best and brightest.
These kinds of awards and jury lineup, you are truly giving it the right.
Welcome back to Know Your Company, and now we are joined in by Vijay Yadav. He's the General Manager for Finance at Oswal Pumps. Good afternoon, Vijay ji. It's always a pleasure to have you with us at NDTV Profit. And over the last 1 month, the orders have started coming in, and you have announced, the company has announced important order wins also. So we'll start with this, the recent order wins. What does this mean for the company and the order book outlook going ahead?
Sir, thank you and good afternoon. So you explained properly that we have sufficient order book and management is also planning accordingly, and we are in the line with the current year budget, and this quarter definitely we will be in the line. And yes, future planning for capex and other activity that has been mentioned earlier. So we are on the same track, and commercial production is likely to come post Q2. So definitely those period will be best era for the companies, and the other activities such as R&D and other uh, advancement of product is being done with the proper team. So let's see how the everything goes, and we believe that everything is going well.
The belief is everything is going well, and at least that benefit will start coming in from the second quarter onwards as well. We'll discuss the capex plans as it is. We'll understand a little bit more in that detail. But Vijayji, I just want to understand the Kusum 2.0. That's also a very important story to track the rollout. How much incremental benefit will that be for your company, and will it be, a bit different than what was there in the PM Kusum scheme part 1?
See, the entire industry, on our industry specifically, everyone is just talking about Kusum 2, right? What we will get and how much we will get. But everything is just, it's a long discussion point. So definitely, unless everything is announced, because this is unless it is announced appropriately, and then they every stakeholder or all the market participant can consider that how much they are getting. So right now, yes, the government is also planning self-dependent on this power and solar power to the nation. So yes, sooner or later the project will definitely will be announced, and that will all the participants accordingly they will get as per their bidding. So that's a very good. That will be also very plus point and advantages for us to get the proper share and continue the business and those activities. We are actually planning for everything. Right?
Fair enough. You are planning for everything. That's interesting. But investors and stakeholders have raised a little bit of concern, sir, especially on the higher receivables because there is a B2G angle involved and also the cash flow issues. Can you just address that, and when will things improve?
So, data collection is improving, and in Q2 financials definitely will be much better. Right now, last if you see the March 26, 190 days of days data recovery. So yes, till the Q2, the scene will be different, and collection is being improved by the government. All the data are actually government data. So yes, they take some time, but we are in the process, and collection is being improved.
So that's a very important statement coming in, Vijayji. Collections are improving, and the magic or the benefit or the turnaround, whatever you call it, will happen from the second quarter onwards, especially on the execution front as well as, helping out your working capital ratios. But apart from this, everybody knows you about the solar pump theme which is there, your company. But what else Oswal Pumps is doing which is different? How are you diversifying, especially from the government schemes, or maybe in the non-government areas? Are you looking at something, any R&D, any tie-up? Is there anything else?
Yes, actually, for the new capex in the both solar part and motor part and inverter area. So the activity for the marketing, branding, research, and other interaction with the other business participant for improvement and absorb the additional capacity of production. So everything is planned, and these final the execution will start from post quarter after the trial run. So once trial run is completed properly, because if anything goes wrong, all the product went in the market and then calling back, it will be not good for the financials as well. And the other thing which is not good, that's also a very major step. So each and everything we are planning, and everything is in the line, just waiting to come in the commercial production of the new additional capacities and testing of those activities, and thereafter the things which are in the line and under the discussion that will be minutized and documented. Then we will discuss more appropriately in the post second quarter.
Right. So we have some time. Q2 we might do discussions, but the benefit of these executions will start from the fourth quarter. And remember, there will be trials also, which will be done, especially on the new capex, new business. The interestingly put, Q2 and Q4 is something which we'll be watching out for from our conversation. But Vijayji, the pressure of tendering, is that pricing pressure or the competition still there, or is it bottoming out now?
It's under the closing situation, and in a very few periods that will be removed from the business. But yes, there is a, you are seeing the yearly financials. So yes, it's seen very clear that there is a pressure, and also the now the management is also considering for to have a professional and professionally driven organization. They are the that is first generation organization and business. So now the process of to transforming the from promoter driven organization to professional driven organization. So during this transition period, it's taking some time, and the activities that are being performed. So definitely that will result very well for the organization. For long term, there is no issue. Yes, temporarily there is a pressure.
Fair enough. So look at the long term. That's what Vijayji is talking about. And 2 points are very important in our conversation. One, that pricing pressure, yes, it's there. It's the honesty of the management, and that's a good thing in KYC, which management talks about. But maybe that pressure would be coming out going ahead, and the management is also focusing on the professional side. Yeah.
It is a pressure on industry, sir, not only on us.
Fair enough. Yes, that's true. And I was mentioning the industry itself, not just your company, because things go together in the markets, especially in your theme. But the guidance for the solar rooftop segment, that is where you're trying to do something new. And if yes, capex, timelines, what is it for our viewers?
Sir, I said for everything. Specifically, we are now discussing only for solar. So the advanced equipment and machinery is being installed, and that will also commercial production will come post Q2 in phase wise, and that's why we are considering the post Q2 the seen scenario for financials numbers and ratios will be much different, because we will consider now non-government activities as well. That's why we are diversifying. So right now you are well aware, everyone well aware that major sales are coming from the government project. So now we are improving our capacity to non-government project, and we are in the discussion with the several participants. So to absorb those and data turnover ratio, improving the data turnover ratio, we are considering in an aggressive mode for non-government project as well. So definitely the scenario is different.
Right, Vijayji. And of course, next time when you come to in our KYC show, the story will be different, the ratings will be different, and you won't just be a B2G player, you'll also be a B2C player. Of course, we spoke about the Q2 numbers, 2 important things coming in, the commercial production for your solar rooftop segment, that comes in Q2. All the benefits, all the changes in the ratio starts coming in Q2, and you have, of course, Q4 also, where new capex is moving on. The last question I would like to understand, we have spoken about industry and your company and everything else which is possible for your stock right now from the people who have written about in our KYC show. But the capex plans, any number is there which you can assign, say this year this much, next year that much for FY28, FY30, anything which is there to track the capex amount?
Yes. I don't think that because we are sharing the financial to auditor for a review and publishing. So please, I request not to disclose the number, but that has been written in the prospectus and DRHP. We are in the same process and the same activity is being done.
Okay, sir, not a problem, but you have given us a lot, especially in a silent period like that coming ahead and talking so much about your company. That's, of course, thank you for that. And best of luck, sir, for the future. And hopefully, from the second quarter onwards, you are just not a B2G company, but you are, of course, a B2G as well as a B2C company. Best of luck for the future, Vijayji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So that's the management of Oswal Pumps. Of course, the street has punished the stock. It's down for 35% almost from its IPO price. But the story might be different in the second quarter. And if that happens, we'll get the company in KYC and show you whether there has been an up move or the downward move in our analysis for this counter. So for interesting stories like this, stay tuned to NDTV Profit and keep watching KYC.
Superstar Stocks of the Day, presented by Tata Azura, हर रास्ते का सुपरस्टार।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
We are over, Jimmy.
हे, लाइफ में स्क्रैचेस तो आएंगे। गाड़ी के स्क्रैचेस को तो कॉस्मो पीपीएफ संभाल लेगा। आप अपना देख लो।
अंबा शक्ति प्लांट की वर्ल्ड रेनाउंड टेक्नोलॉजी देती है स्टील को ज्यादा ताकत हर बार। अंबा शक्ति SDTMT।
India Inc.'s most respected names chose India Inc.'s best and brightest.
These kinds of awards and the jury lineup, you are truly giving it the right weightage. I think it's heartening to see talent that there is in across India Inc. We should be awarding companies and individuals who have focused not only on growth but also on bringing good governance.
Be part of jury and vote on the people, the men, the women, the companies in India who have the right stuff is a great opportunity for us.
For us, the biggest thing is trust. That's what we provide. We need leaders in India that can help take India being a global superpower.
We've got a fantastic jury and we've left all decisions to the wisdom of the jury.
Who will earn India's top business honors? Find out at the NDTV Profit Business Leadership Awards. India's unshakable news habit. NDTV.com is India's #1 English news website.
Access to capital, faster regulatory pathways, and market acceptance to create value. And if we get the pieces right, I think we can move from being the pharmacy of the world to being the most innovative lab of the world.
Hi, I'm Tamara.
Benchmarks under pressure today with Nifty and Sensex hovering near day's lows. Nifty struggles near 24,170 levels while the Sensex sheds nearly 600 points today. Banks and auto trade under pressure. PSU banks, pharma remain resilient. HDFC Bank and Kotak Bank trade under pressure after mostly in-line Q1 numbers for banks, but margin pressure continues. ICICI Bank and PNB gain after a strong quarter, while Axis Bank lags as asset quality declines. Oil prices surged after fresh escalation between the US and Iran reignited the concerns over energy supplies. Brent climbed above $90 per barrel as fears of disruption through the Strait of Hormuz really pushed geopolitical risk premiums sharply higher. Solar stocks in the spotlight after the government ruled out a blanket extension of ALMM2 norms while allowing a limited transition period for select projects. Chat with Premier Energies lined up on the show. Parliament's monsoon session has been adjourned amid ruckus and heightened security arrangements. The opposition is seeking discussions on issues including question paper leaks and other key issues. Hello and welcome. You tuned into Markets at 12. I'm Nisha Poddar. Let's take you through the market first. And yes, there is pressure that is being seen on the Indian markets. Nifty 50 is down over 0.5% in trade at the current moment. So is Sensex. And a large part of that can be owed to the weaker global cues, the resurgence of war in the weekend period. And that has really taken the crude oil prices to $90 a barrel. Now, that particular level being crossed is a worry for the Indian economy, as most of the economists have been penciling in $80 per barrel as an average price for our import barrel of crude for this particular year. So that is one concern that is really impacting the overall market. When we take a look at the mid-cap universe, the broader markets is far more resilient than the mainline yardstick benchmarks really coming in, and mid-cap 100 is about 0.28% up in trade. And in fact, if we really take a look at some of the sectors, it's the banking sector which is really taking a lead and also impacting Nifty 50. Because of the numbers, there has been a mixed impact on the banking sector. So HDFC Bank has been a dragger while ICICI Bank is really gaining in trade. In terms of other contributions really coming in, Bharti Airtel is also on the gaining side. But remember, a large part of Nifty 50 is really gains are being shaved off by exactly two counters in particular. First largest HDFC Bank and second is Axis Bank. So those two counters really putting pressure when we talk about the index, which is not giving a full picture of the overall market. In terms of the sectoral play, it's half and half, with Bank Nifty really taking a charge, auto also on the downward side, but pharma, metals, energy, these are the sectors doing well. Nishal Maheshwari, market expert, joins in now. Nishal, always a pleasure to speak to you on NDTV Profit. What do you make of the resurgence of the war, and how much more downside can we really see because of the crude-related impact on our economy?
Good afternoon to you, Nisha, and your viewers. Yes, I think these are all temporary blips is what I believe at the moment. I do not see this escalating too much. I think both the parties are trying to get back on a negotiating table, and this is one of the ways basically which they are trying to pressurize each other. So I do not see much prolonged war at the moment. That's my view at the moment. I think things are going to get sorted out, and I think every fall is a buying opportunity in the market.
Buying opportunity, yes, with HDFC Bank seeing a huge erosion in terms of pricing, Nishal, and also Axis Bank, and especially after the results that came out over the weekend. How do you assess the banking sector now, and how will you segregate the winners and losers and where to put money in?
So I think there was some disappointment on the NIM side, basically for both HDFC and Axis Bank. I think the NIMs came down by 4 basis points or 3 to 4 basis points for both of them, and that's why the market is disappointed. But the growth is there, so we have to keep in mind that the growth is now coming from the corporate side, and if you are going to be giving loans to the AAA kind of corporates, obviously there is going to be some pressure on NIMs. I believe in the September quarter, NIMs should come back to normal. And given that the stocks are down, both of them 4 to 5%, I think it's a good time to keep on accumulating both of them.
Right. When we talk about the other sectors, coming in, Nishal. Which are the sectors which you are now probably bearish on at the current moment? Looking at the earnings cycle, the consumption pattern, the monsoon data is also out, and the margin pressure will continue with crude oil prices really being at elevated levels even in this quarter. How are you assessing, and is there any change and any sectors going on the bearish side?
I think one of the sectors which looks toppish and could see more downside from here is the metals. They have really peaked out in the last 2-3 months and gained quite a lot. And I think given that the dollar is weakening, I think this could be a good thing for actually looking at metals also getting weakened in the process.
All right, so metals is, of course, is overblown at the current moment. The results are also coming out pretty good for the metal sector. But next quarter is where there could be a little more, also because of the monsoon season, as seasonality is also a weaker sector. When we talk about one particular sector, that is the semiconductor-led and the electronics-led, Nishal, government is putting a lot of thrust on this particular space. Because of the recent announcements of more outlay and more trust by the government, is there a change, and also what kind of companies would be more valuable for an investment now for 3 to 5 years?
So I think we have to understand the first phase of the government's policy was about setting up the semiconductors. Now I think the second phase government is very focused on saying that the designing and making of the chips basically is supposed to be happening in India, and that's where they are supporting it. So for the second phase, I don't think so. There are many listed plays, but I think the first part of this we have already seen there is a listed play, CG Power, I think, and Keynes. I think these are the two companies which are positive on that side. But for the second phase, we yet to see any company basically which is on listed side, which has got large amount of business basically coming from the designing side of the chips. So I don't think so. We have much to play there.
Right. Thank you so much, Nishal, for your expert take on the markets. Always a pleasure to chat with you. All right, so that was about the market, and take a look at rupee at the low point of the trading session. Remember that it is now getting closer to its all-time lows, also pretty fast, 96.51. So 96.5 is what the economists had really penciled in if the crude oil prices really flare up. And with crude really touching $90 per barrel, rupee has again tied itself to that particular momentum and is depreciating. So weaker rupee definitely not a good news to keep an eye out for, and closer to 97 is where its historical low really lies, and at the moment 96.5. All right, let's shift focus to the real estate and the property space, and Prashant Thakur, who's the executive director and head of research as well as advisory at Anarok, joins in now. Prashant, good to have you on NDTV Profit. Of course, the GCC backed demand for office space is something which is giving a lot of benefit to the overall property market. How do you see the trend at the particular moment, and what's really differentiating when we talk about this area of strong demand coming in from GCC?
I think you are completely right. GCC-led leasing, I think it has surprised all of us. While people were anticipating that amidst this global turmoil and the AI-led disruption, the overall leasing would fall. But surprise to everybody's surprise, it has kind of really held up quite significantly. And the prime reason behind this is strong confidence that the GCCs have, put in the Indian office sector. Just to give you stats, in the first half of 26, 45% of the space that was leased out was done by GCCs. And then, this number becomes more pronounced when you look at the southern part of the country. The overall GCC leasing in Bangalore accounted for 70%. And if you take into account the three cities of South, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Chennai, close to 50% of the space occupied was by GCC. So I think there are a couple of factors because of which I think GCC have kind of really continued their confidence. Number one is definitely the kind of stability this economy provides, the talent that is available, and the best part is that the appreciating dollar has always kept the unit economics quite in check. So it's obviously the talent factor is the primary pull. And I would say the added advantage also is that for them, the rental has always remained, close to $1 or so. So I think these factors will continue to kind of drive the GCC leasing in India. And also, if you look at the way the various state governments have kind of really started to focus more on GCC-led policies, is kind of also giving a lot of strong confidence to these global occupiers.
Right, it's a very big, strong, confidence booster, Prashant. But my question to you is, if GCCs are really showing that much demand, how is the supply-demand dynamics? Because there are many MNCs, and especially IT and ITES, which is a very big sector, which really generally takes huge office spaces and the high-end office spaces for leasing. So how is this particular structure and this impacting the overall business as well as the pricing?
See, first of all, let us talk about the net supply that hit during the first half of 26. So the new supply was slightly down by almost, I would say, 10%. And that also was a plus factor for the overall vacancy. The vacancy came down to 15%, and because of which the rentals also firmed up in a few of the cities. Again, having said that, I think the completion would kind of resume. It was temporarily kind of delayed. A few of the supply that was supposed to hit the market got delayed because of this ongoing disruptions because of global tensions that we are seeing. But again, if you have to kind of really peel the onion in terms of the kind of players who are leasing the space, it comes out to be a multifold story. While GCCs definitely are taking the center stage, it is manufacturing and BFSI also that are kind of really ramping up their presence. So I would say a couple of things. While GCC would continue to dominate the overall leasing landscape, but the underlying story that is also unfolding is that because of this strong Make in India manufacturing push, the manufacturing companies are also slowly ramping up their grade A offices, followed by BFSI. And of course, the new segment which emerged after COVID was co-working. That has also kind of really flourished well, and then continues to account for almost 20 plus share in the overall leasing. So that's how well diversified this entire leasing story is folding out. And yes, the grade A I think story remains quite intact. And one thing has emerged out very clearly. Whenever there is any kind of global tension or uncertainty, be it COVID-19, be it Russia-Ukraine war, and be it the current war, I think the Indian economy has somehow kind of held its forte. And we have always seen that the grade A office and the confidence of global occupiers has kind of always increased in these kind of uncertain scenarios.
All right. So unfazed because of the global uncertainties on the kind of opportunities they see being here in India and having a base here with their office space. But Prashant, when we talk about the other side of the spectrum, which is the suppliers as well as the property builders and developers, how are you seeing that new pipeline being created to cater to the demand coming in from newer segments along with GCC push?
See, the supply pipeline is quite robust. So in 2026, we are expecting close to 50 million square feet of total grade A office space that would come into the market. I think that is quite significant amount, and it's quite a healthy supply that is going to balance the incoming demand. And the good part is that which is also leading to a healthy vacancy level. Because unless the developers don't see a real appreciation in rental, they will not be encouraged too much to build grade A office supply, which I think has played out quite well as of now. Because inherently, if you see, we are, I would say, in terms of grade A office stock, we are still undersupplied, and the kind of demand that has started to come in, the supply side is definitely kind of slowly lagging But I think in coming years they will pick up definitely, because there's a huge strong pipeline by good grade A developers.
All right, and just one final question, Prashant, a quick answer to that. How is the pricing momentum and the occupancy panning out? If you can give us an outlook for the rest of the financial year.
So I think the vacancy levels have been quite healthy. We have seen good improvement. It has come down to 15%, which is a healthy number. And because of the supply dip that we saw in the first half of 26, and also a strong gross leasing numbers, the rentals have also gone up by almost 9% across the top 7 cities that we track.
All right, Prashant, always a pleasure to chat with you about the office space, the rentals, and how this particular sector is really developing. Thank you so much for joining in.
My pleasure.
All right, let's move on to another important news which really impacts the renewable energy and especially the solar energy space. The government has extended the ALMM2 till 31st of December. It has given a 6 months extension only for certain categories of solar PV cells. And this ALMM2 extension is something that impacts the overall sector. Let's get chatting with one of the players in this particular space. Vinay Rustagi, who is the Chief Business Officer of Premier Energies, now joins in to give us a view. Now, Vinay, with this particular extension, what is the impact on the sector as you see, and what was the requirement? I know that the sector itself had asked for this particular extension.
So maybe we just start quickly with what is the policy and what is the intention of the government. So ALMM2, as you said, is basically designed to make sure that all the cells that are used in India are actually manufactured in India rather than being imported. And the government had set the policy timeline as 1st of June for about 70% of the total market demand. Now, within the 70% itself, there are 3 market segments. There is residential rooftop solar, there is Kusum or solar pumps, and then there is the corporate market. Now, the government has taken the view that given the limited supply and the fact that the demand is very, very strong, some time relief be given to one of these 3 segments, that is a corporate market segment. And the government has basically given an extension till 31st of December. So, our view is that in terms of the industry impact, the demand from the residential rooftop solar and the Kusum segments is extremely strong. Both these policies are set to expire, I would say, in the next 9 to 12 months. And the government wants to make sure that installations under these 2 schemes don't have any negative impact because of limited supply. So the government has continued the policy for these 2 segments. In general, I want to also reassure everybody that the policy stays intact. The government support for Make in India remains intact, only because of the limited supply for one of the segments that the government has given a limited time relief. So net, I don't see much of an impact on the overall market, partly because this segment had actually not started placing orders yet. So as of today, there was some expectation already in the market that there will be a government relief coming because of limited supply. And most of these customers were sitting back on orders. So there is no impact on the market because in terms of incremental demand or production process.
All right, since you said that most of the, the demand had not even kicked in because the expectation of extension was already there. So one quick question on your company itself. Is there any margin impact or business impact because of this extension on Premier Energies?
Yeah, sure. So, in terms of our business, for the next 6 months or so, our cell as well as domestic module production is completely sold out over the next 6 months. And that is being earmarked mainly for the residential rooftop solar and the Kusum customers. So we have, in fact, very little, if anything, any orders from the corporate market, which are going to be impacted because of this. So as a result of that, we don't see any impact over our business, either in terms of production volumes or pricing or margins, etc.
Right. So no impact on Premier Energies is what you're mentioning. But when we talk about this particular, project and the government's push, the technological requirement as well as capacity demand both have been evolving, and that's what is also delaying this from really taking off. Like the TopCon, advantage of advanced technology is something that is there in demand. How much do we have in terms of supply? Give us a sense whether this extension is enough.
Yes, sure. There are solar is a very dynamic sector. There are a lot of market trends underway. One is that the demand overall is booming and is growing very strongly. Last year, we saw about 90% increase in demand over the year before that. And this year, again, we expect the demand momentum to continue. The second thing, as you said, is that technology landscape is changing quite rapidly. Mono-PERC was the dominant technology until about 2 years ago. Now it is TopCon, and in the next three to 4 years, we expect new technologies to come into play. As of today, we have about 21 gigawatts of Mono-PERC capacity and about 10 gigawatts of TopCon capacity. But we do see a lot of new capacity coming online over the next 6 to 9 months, most of which is expected to be TopCon. So the industry is fully geared to meet both the demand as well as the technology, the changing technology landscape and the needs of the customer. So I don't see any problem in the industry, failing to meet any of these requirements.
All right. So while we are talking about ALMM2's execution, there is also a roadmap for ALMM3 execution, which is to be done by June 2028 for ingots and wafers as well to be domestically used. Now, how are we in terms of readiness and execution for that particular roadmap? Give us a sense on that.
Sure. So as you said, ALMM3, the timelines are about 2 years away. What the policy means is that all the ingots and wafers have to be made in India, as part of that framework. Now, ingot and wafer is quite unlike cells, is a business where we have almost zero expertise right now. So we have a lot of work to do to find the best technology, develop our local know-how and the ecosystem. It is also an extremely capital-intensive process. So, the ingot wafer manufacturing business, to our estimation, needs a total capex of about 50,000 crore rupees over the next 3 years. So there is a lot of work to be done. Having said that, many companies, including ourselves, have announced plans to start developing capacities from end of 2027 onwards. Our request to the government is that given the criticality of the investments, the huge investments and the technology requirements, the policy framework should be upheld to basically make sure that the investment sentiment is not affected in this process.
All right. So that particular technology is still some time away. A lot of work needs to be done. But before we let you go, give us a sense on the huge ramp up that you have planned and the guidance with timelines for this particular financial year.
Sure, Nisha. So actually, it is a very exciting time for the business because we've just commissioned our 11 gigawatt, our 5.6 gigawatt module plant, taking our capacity to 11 gigawatts. And from July onwards, that plant has fully turned into production. Second, we have a massive 7 gigawatt cell capacity, which is coming online in the next 2 months. And that will also fully ramp up by the end of the year. So what you will see in terms of, I would say, the next 3 quarters, the cell and module production numbers will inch up quarter on quarter, which will give us a massive benefit of scale and profitability. At the same time, even in the transformer business, we made an acquisition last year. The transformer business capacity is also set to more than increase by about 5 times in the next 2 months. So we will have a capacity of 16 GVA. And that will also come into production by the end of this year. So I think we will see a massive uplift in the scale of the company and overall operations.
All right, Vinay Rustagi, thank you so much for giving us a whole host of clarity about this particular new development in the solar PV cell space. Thank you so much for joining in on NDTV Profit. That particular counter has really recovered in trade because of especially the company clarifying that the extension on ALMM2 is not going to impact their business. So the stock in the green. Now let's move on. After a pause of 13 years, one of the most prestigious honors in Indian business is back. On July 26th, NDTV Profit brings back the Business Leadership Award, celebrating the leaders, companies and entrepreneurs who have helped shape India's economic journey. Now, the nominees for the Business Leader of the Year Private Sector are Dr. Anish Shah Mahindra Group, transforming a legacy conglomerate with sharper focus, stronger returns and disciplined growth. Dr. Anish Shah of Mahindra Group. Now, K.N. Radhakrishnan, TVS Motors, driving the innovation, global expansion and EV leadership. K.N. Radhakrishnan has really accelerated TVS Motors' growth journey. Now, the architect behind India's retail success story, scaling brands and delivering exceptional growth at Trent, P. Venkateshalu, and he is also one of the important business leaders candidates. From cables to electrical leadership, Inder Jaisingh is Singhani has really powered Polycab's rise into an industry powerhouse, advancing the global healthcare through innovation and execution. Vinita Gupta, who's continuing to strengthen Lupin's international footprint, a visionary who transformed a homegrown manufacturer into a global mobility powerhouse, is Rajiv Bajaj of Bajaj Auto, also steering India's largest car maker through a new era of growth, innovation and mobility transformation, is also Hisashi Taikuchi, who's from Maruti Suzuki. So that's a strong contender coming in this particular space, leading India's engineering giant with scale, also ambition and execution excellence. S.N. Subramanian of Larsen & Toubro, SNS, is known as the top leader and a top contender there. So watching out for the Business Leadership Award. Out of time on markets at 12. Keep it with NDTV Profit. Thank you so much.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
याद है ना मैंने क्या सिखाया था? सिल्वर के लिए स्टर्लिंग मार्क, गोल्ड के लिए हॉलमार्क और मस्टर्ड ऑयल के लिए सिर्फ पी मार्क।
इस बार तो माँ से भी बेहतर बना।
P-Mark, the mustard specialist since 1933. बरसों से सरसों। कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में।
We are over, Jimmy.
हे, लाइफ में स्क्रैचेस तो आएंगे। गाड़ी के स्क्रैचेस को तो कॉस्मो पीपीएफ संभाल लेगा। आप अपना देख लो।
अंबा शक्ति प्लांट की वर्ल्ड रेनाउंड टेक्नोलॉजी देती है स्टील को ज्यादा ताकत हर बार। अंबा शक्ति SDTMT।
पर जब इंसान प्रकृति के साथ सामंजस्य को आत्मसात कर लेता है तो वो मधुर और लालन पोषण करने वाली बन जाती है। P-Mark सरसों के तेल ने प्राकृतिक तरीके से सरसों के तेल को बनाया है शुद्धता और गुणवत्ता के साथ।
The mustard specialist since 1933. बरसों से सरसों। कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में।
India Inc.'s most respected names chose India Inc.'s best and brightest.
These kind of awards and jury lineup, you are truly giving it the right weightage. I think it's heartening to see talent that there is across India Inc.
We should be awarding companies and individuals who have focused not only on growth but also on bringing good governance.
Be part of jury and vote on the people, the men, the women, the companies in India who have the right stuff.
is a great opportunity for us. For us, the biggest thing is trust. That's what we provide. And we need leaders in India that can help take India being a global superpower.
We got a fantastic jury and we've left all decisions to the wisdom of the jury.
Who will earn India's top business honors? Find out at the NDTV Profit Business Leadership Awards. India's unshakable news habit. NDTV.com is India's #1 English news website.
Technology is
Hello and welcome to NDTV Profit. You're watching Trending Stocks from NDTV Profit Suzlon Studio. With me, Hiral Tatia and Sharad Dubey, who's standing at the Profit Market Pit. Sharad, good afternoon. Interesting day of trade because in terms of opening, we were seeing a cut of 15 to 20 points. Now we're up almost 0.6%. So if you pull up 50-50 on the screens as well, the first support level is something that we did break in intraday trade, but again a bounce that has come in yet again. Right now 0.6% lower, below that 24,200 mark as we speak. Sharad, what are the cues that you're picking up, and what should investors watch out for the second half of the trading session?
Exactly. Good afternoon, Hiral. And you're right, the markets are absorbing the earnings impact which is coming in from the heavyweights over the weekend. Almost 34% of constituents has come in. Nifty, of course, getting dragged by the banking names, and I'll get you that story in a while. Nifty Bank, let's see what's happening here. Of course, after the gap down opening, there's a minor recovery attempt coming in, but it's still down almost 800 points. So yes, the gashes are deep for the Nifty banking names. But what are the factors you should be watching out for today? It's pretty much interesting. Remember, it's largely index specific moves there coming in, and Nifty is seeing a technical reversal, a little bit of profit booking if you see the charts from last week as well. Also Nifty Bank, that's where the technical setup is quite weaker. And remember, HDFC Bank, Axis Bank, Kotak Bank, these are the ones dragging the Nifty Bank down. And HDFC Bank especially, more than 130 point downtick coming in just from one counter. And this is the overall setup looking like. But small and mid cap, the story is not that bad actually, to be honest. And a better performance is coming in, and it's almost 1:1 bulls versus bear. It's slightly on a better position on this trading day. Apart from this, also buying is seen in pharma, which is of course a defensive, and PSU banks. It's a churn happening from the private to the PSU space. So this is something which we should be watching out for. Other sectors are in a range. Rupee has weakened past that $96.5 mark. That's a concern coming in. Hopefully RBI intervention does come. Oil yields are up on the rising geopolitical tensions, and this is continuing going ahead. So this is a negative macro trigger, and the Parliament's monsoon session kickstarts today. To expect a lot of bills coming ahead, which are expected to come in. Also, earnings season is on. We have Ultratech Cement, Paytm and Shyam Metallics. Of course, with the fundraise also announcement for Shyam Metallics, we'll be focusing on all these three major counters. And of course, apart from this, any other geopolitical development comes, that's what we'll be getting. But right now, focus is on earnings and Smiths right now as the larger banks weigh in on the benchmark indices.
Okay, so interesting moves there. So there are slightly Monday blues also that you're watching out for. Let's just quickly pull up the Nifty 50 heat map right now before we go to the watch list to understand which are the stocks which are firing and which are the ones which are actually putting pressure. Because when we started off the day for trade, you had ICICI Bank as one of the top gainers, whereas Kotak, Axis, all the others were trading under pressure. There you go, Kotak, HDFC, Axis. Cuts to the tune of almost 2.5 to 5.5% coming in there. What's ruling the roost is a Cipla, which is the top gainer today, followed by a Trent, which is seeing some smart moves. JSW Steel also is actually reacting to the first quarter numbers. ONGC is up in trade on the back of the way crude has been panning out. We are back again to that $90 per barrel mark. But let's look at the watch list. Axis Bank, the margins have dipped for a fifth consecutive quarter, so that stock is in focus in today's session. 5.5% downtick there. You have HDFC Bank, where the Q1 has missed estimates. The asset quality has weakened. ICICI Bank is an outlier. Q1 has beat estimates. It's a strong credit growth, and it's far better as compared to a HDFC Bank as well, if you have to do a like-to-like comparison in terms of size. Kotak Mahindra Bank under pressure. Margins have dipped. Your credit cost has been high. PNB Bank as well, where the margins have improved, the provisioning is lower, and that's what has kept that stock afloat in today's session, trading in the green. Craftsman Auto, pull up that one. There's an initiation report coming in by Goldman Sachs. 11,600 is the target price. That stock is up 2.5%. Viatech Wabag is up in trade on the back of a 250 to 600 crore order. CleanMax, a clear beneficiary in terms of ALMM2 extension. That stock is buzzing as well. JSW Steel reacting to numbers where brokerages have remained bullish. Ultratech Cement, that stock is in focus ahead of the numbers. Double-digit growth is expected in the first quarter, and ahead of numbers, you're seeing some green on that one. Sansera Engineering as well has got an initiation by Goldman Sachs, and they have a target price of 4,130. Tata Tech reacting to numbers where brokerages have now maintained a sell. They have a target price of 550. That's a Goldman Sachs yet again. Havells is up 0.6%, though the margins have normalized on this one. So, I mean, no major downtick coming in there. Landmark Cars, that stock is marginally lower, though you have a Helios mutual fund, which has acquired 2.5 lakh shares in the company. R3 Drugs is in focus as well, and that's because GBCB the orders has ordered a closure in terms of the Gujarat plant, and that's what is having a negative impact there. Tatva is one which is reacting to numbers, and Turtleman Fintech. The EBITDA loss has reduced on a sequential basis. We will be speaking to the management as well on India market close to 9.5% up move coming in on this counter. But Sharad, over to you to take the rapid fire as well.
Thanks a lot, Hiral, for that. We joined in by Nilesh Jain. Good afternoon, Nilesh. It's always a pleasure to have you. We'll start our rapid fire round, but it's the day of banks. You know, one side we have HDFC Bank, other side we have ICICI Bank. Let's start with HDFC Bank. A big drag coming in both Nifty Bank and Nifty. Do you think the selling will continue going ahead? Some more downgrades coming in, or the selling seems to be over for HDFC Bank?
Very good afternoon, Sharath and Hiral. Well, today we have seen a breakdown in HDFC Bank. Counter is broken below its 21 as well as 100-day moving average. So looks like there could be possibility of another leg on the lower side, maybe towards 760, 750 going forward. So avoid taking any contraband. I think there could be possibility of a follow-up move going forward.
Right. So any stop losses which we can see for HDFC Bank? Any short strategies?
Right, so as long as it trades below 800, there are high possibility of a move towards 750. So technically, your stop loss should be at 800. Just in case if you see counter going forward reclaims 800 level, then there could be possibility of a short coming move. But as of now, that should be a stop loss, and a sell on rise kind of a strategy can be deployed.
Right, sell on rise for HDFC Bank. But what about ICICI Bank? It's a different story altogether. Do you think that the charts have strength, or it's a consolidation play?
Well, Sharad, there is a strength because the counter has given a good breakout. So it is exactly opposite to HDFC Bank. Buy and decline setup I can see on the chart. Keeping a stop loss below 1390, if you get any dip towards 1430, 1420, that can be used as a buying opportunity. And there is still possibility of a move towards 1500 in the near term. Not on immediate basis, but yes, a gradual up move is something that we can expect.
Right, and the next stock is Viatech Wabag. Order flows have started coming in, but does the chart give any better risk reward here, or should one avoid this?
Well, after today's spurt, better wait for a dip towards 2050. That's a good entry point. Keeping a stop loss below 1980, it can be bought on declines. The counter still has a strength and can move towards 2123, 2150 in the near term.
Right, foreign brokerages are turning bullish for Sansera Engineering. Right time to make a positional bet in this counter?
Well, Sansera has already spiked around 5% today, but it is in a secular uptrend, can be added in a staggered manner. I think the counter has the potential to move towards 3600 to 3800 in the near term. So keep a stop loss at 3200, buy and decline should be the strategy.
Nilesh, let's do a chart check for Havells and let's understand any important key levels and any trade can be made here.
The only positive I can see on the chart is that the counter has formed a very good base formation. So from a risk and reward perspective, it has a very strong support at 1120. So 1120 should be the stop loss. We can expect a pullback towards 1250 to 1300 going forward.
Right, Arcade. The next stock is the Landmark Cars. That's what we are looking at. And see, the long-term charts, there was a big correction coming in, but now the mutual fund addition has started coming in, value buying coming in. Just wanted to understand overall, is there a momentum at play here? Any more follow-up or volume-based buying is happening in this counter, Landmark Cars?
Well, the momentum is missing as of now, but yes, can be added on decline because the stock is trading well above its 200-day long-term moving average. So stop loss should be at 462 and can be added if at all it falls in the range of 500 to 505. We can expect a gradual uptick maybe towards 580 to 600 in the near term.
Right, stay with us, Nilesh. And now we are talking about an interesting theme, ALMM2 extension. Now, it's of course positive for some categories of stocks and it's negative for some categories of stocks. So, which are they? Varsha is here to decode that.
Well, first of all, the news is that the ALMM extension has been done till December 2026 from May 2026. Now, what is ALMM? It's nothing but that this requires solar projects. ALMM requires solar projects to use approved Indian-made solar cells. So earlier, so by May 31st, 2026, all the solar projects were supposed to use Indian-made solar cells. Now that extension has been till December 2026. Now, why government is doing this? Because the domestic solar cell supply is insufficient, and this will also help project delays and cost escalation. Now, coming to the impact on which all companies will be negatively and positively impacted. All the modules and cell players will actually be negatively impacted. You have kind of Worry Energies, Premier Energies. If you see, there will be a near-term negative impact. This will delay benefit from mandatory domestic cell sourcing and also will reduce pricing power for some of the integrated players. Now, who will benefit from this extension? Of course, you have developers like Clean Max, which will actually benefit. Why? Because of the low project cost for open access projects. So hence, Worry Energies Premiers will have a near-term negative impact, while Clean Max and developers will have a positive impact.
Thanks a lot, Varsha, for clearing that out. But over to you, Hiral. What are you gathering on the markets?
It's interesting. Before we go to market, Shyam Metallics, let's just pull up that one on the screens right now. They've just reported their numbers, and that's the reason why you're seeing that spike coming in there. 5.5% to 6% upside on a Shyam Metallics. If you look at the numbers, the revenues have seen a growth of almost around 30 to 33% as we speak. And that's the reason why you're seeing that growth. Margins have also come in at almost nearly 14% versus a 13.1% that we were tracking in the previous quarter as we speak. In terms of the calculated EBITDA, 5.3% at 765 odd crores on a sequential basis. In fact, if you have to talk about the EBITDA margins as well, the calculated one is 14% versus a 13.9% on a sequential basis. And they've approved raising almost 4,500 odd crores via QIP and others. So a very strong set of numbers that has been reported by Shyam Metallics, and that's the reason why you're seeing this kind of a rise coming in terms of the stock price. Let's just once again pull up the intraday chart of Shyam Metallics to see the kind of uptick that's coming in there. 8.5% up move on a sequential basis, a 33% up move on a year-on-year basis is what you're seeing in terms of the top line as well. And and the net profit is up almost 8%. Top line is up around 4% on a sequential basis. A strong set of numbers coming in there. Nilesh, on the charts, a 5.5% up move on a Shyam Metallics. Would you advise investors to book profits with this kind of a surge, or are you seeing further momentum from here on where investors can enter?
Well, in terms of a fresh entry, I think one should wait for a dip towards 1,040, 1,050. But if somebody is already holding the long position, can ride this rally up to 1,100 to 1,130 on the upside by keeping a trailing stop loss at 1,055. So the structure is still looking strong, and there could be a momentum play. Maybe 1,130, 1,150 can be seen in the short run. So keep a trailing stop loss in order to play this particular momentum.
That's with regards to Shyam Metallics. But thank you, Nilesh, so much for joining in. Always a pleasure to speak to you and get your views as well. Now, moving on, Laser Power and Infra, a recently listed company that is in focus. They've secured their first commercial order for the next generation AECC conductors as well. Let's discuss more about this order win and business outlook with Deepak Goel, Chairman and Managing Director at Laser Power and Infra. Deepak, welcome to the show. Always a pleasure to speak to you. Now, help us understand, this is one of the first orders that you have received since listing as well. And this is coming in from Himachal Pradesh State Electricity Board. What is the size of this order, and what does this actually do in terms of your revenue growth and outlook for FY27?
Thank you for having me on your show. I would like to take this opportunity to tell you and your viewers that this is actually the first LOA that we have received for this new technology. Now, for this technology, we have tied up with a company in US, which is going to help a lot in our transmission sector. Now, just to let you know a little bit about the transmission sector. Now, our national electricity policy is very ambitious. What we are thinking of is that we are going to increase our power generation from 500 gigawatt to 900 gigawatt by FY32. And the challenges that we are going to face is not from the generation side, but from the transmission side, because the transmission side will involve acquisition of new land and a new right of ways and erection of new towers. So this technology helps eliminate that to some extent. This is called high temperature, low sag conductor. It plays a very big role in this sector. What happens is that in a transmission corridor, which is already existing, if you need to carry the power 3 times of the current power carrying capacity, this is the technology that helps. Now, our tie-up has been with a company in US, which has very recently in 2016 developed this technology and has patented it. And post that patent, they have tied up with us in India. And the product that they have developed in 2016 has already been in use worldwide successfully. So this will mark the first commercial manufacturing of the product in India by us, and that will bring about much benefit to the company as well as to the transmission sector of India.
Deepak, this is more of a prototype. So what is the ambition that you have in this segment that you want to achieve in the next 12 to 18 months in terms of revenue, and how margin accretive is this business?
See, for us, this business is already existing in India. It's just that we are coming up with the next generation of this technology. And for us to capture this market, we have already started this as a first step towards capturing that market. Now, we expect to grow this market from this financial year. So we are expecting a healthy revenue to come in from this year, last quarter, and maybe the first quarter of next year. So we expect healthy revenues to come in from there. So that is how we are looking at it.
So Deepak, with the current order book that you have, can you help us understand what is the revenue and profitability guidance that you're looking at in terms of achieving in FY27, and what's the pipeline visibility that you have in terms of the bidding part of it on the orders?
So this current financial year, we started with an order book of 3,200 crores, which is providing strong visibility for the manufacturing and EPC business of ours. And in the past few years, we have demonstrated reasonable growth in our company. And the current order book is also showing the same. So we expect a double-digit revenue growth in the current financial year. And accordingly, the EBITDA margin should also improve going forward.
What does that number look like?
Numbers, we expect a double-digit growth in our revenue, and the EBITDA margins have also been healthy, and we expect that to happen. But what I will say is that our results are going to be out very soon, and we can discuss about this in details in August when the results are declared.
All right. So I think we will wait for that as well. But thank you, Deepak, so much for joining in. Always a pleasure to speak to you as well. So that's the management, in terms of laser tech. Clearly, there is some bit of pressure in terms of today's session as well on the counter. But ambitions are very strong. Stock down nearly 3.6%. But moving on some earnings conversation now. Suresh Iyer, MD and CEO of Canfin Homes, joins in. Let's pull up the stock. Stock down almost 2.5% as we speak. Let me get in Suresh Iyer as well, who's the MD and CEO. Mr. Iyer, welcome to the show. Always a pleasure to speak to you. My question first coming to you is, in terms of the first quarter of FY27 and the numbers that have been reported, what does that tell you for financial year 2027 as a whole?
See, we had actually began the year with a target of 2,500 crore disbursement for Q1. As against that, we have seen a very good demand across all geographies, and then we ended up with 2,600 crore, which is higher than what we had estimated at the beginning of the year. So, in terms of demand, in fact, it is looking very good, and across all geographies, it is looking positive. So, going forward, also we expect that in terms of disbursement, we should be able to deliver the numbers, and that should help us, slightly inch up our AUM growth also. Because last year we had an AUM growth of 10.4%, and we expect to end the year with an AUM growth of about 14%. So I think that is one thing. The second, in terms of, the first quarter performance, you will see that even after, passing on the entire benefit of 50 basis points in terms of the rate cut last year to our customers, and also moving our customers from annual reset to quarterly reset, we still have been able to maintain a healthy NIM and spread against a guidance of 2.75% spread and 3.75% NIM. We have been able to deliver a higher spread as well as NIM. So I think that is also positive. And in spite of the impact of the geopolitical situation and the risk that could have happened because of on the demand, we are seeing that delinquencies are in fact very strong. We are finding that we are having a very good recovery. Our delinquency numbers are showing an improvement in SMA 1, 2, and NPA compared to even March numbers. So in absolute value, our delinquencies have come down. That shows that our credit costs also for the year we expect it to be very benign.
Hi Suresh, sir. Good afternoon. This is Sharad here. Wanted to understand the disbursements, how the outlook is looking like, because you have done better than what the street was estimating.
Correct.
And secondly, the SMA business, that has also been stable. So do you think the Q2 numbers will also be stable? What are the current trends suggesting, sir?
See, actually, in terms of Q2, we expect to do about 3,000 crore disbursement, which will also be, in fact, healthy growth over Q2 of last year. And the present trend also in terms of the logins, in terms of the demand, in terms of the project launches, we feel that it is pretty good. We have added about 60 additional APF projects also in the first quarter. So our pipeline in terms of our tie-ups is also pretty good. So I think we are expecting that the numbers should be possible. We are definitely geared for it, and with our IT implementation also going successfully, we are very well confident about these numbers. That 13,000 crore disbursement numbers that we are talking about, I think we should definitely be able to reach that.
Regards to where the AUM and disbursement rate goes, how about the shift in terms of where the ticket size is concerned? Because we've seen loans above 30 lakhs that have surged to nearly 48% of your total disbursements in the first quarter of FY27. So is this a result of deliberate premiumization that you're seeing in terms of the portfolio, or is it driven by inflation in core urban housing markets?
See, there is an element of inflation which has resulted in an increase in our ticket size, but there are also some conscious efforts that we have made. One, in terms of our sales team and the APF tie-ups that we have made. That, in fact, we are observing is giving us a higher ticket size business. And second thing is, of course, that, in terms of our product, we are, seeing that the quality of the loans also, we have definitely having a little bit of a shift. Our Karnataka and Telangana markets, where the ticket sizes have generally been higher, are also picking up now, because we had a problem with the e-Khata some time back, but now we are getting a stable business, and Karnataka is also growing at 18%. Even Telangana, where the ticket sizes have been generally higher for us, there also it is starting to pick up. So that's why, this ticket size is what we are seeing. However, in fact, we would still like to operate overall in the ticket size of about 25 to 35 lakhs only. I don't think it will go beyond that. As of now, also, our average ticket size is somewhere around 27 lakh on the entire book, because we still have a large amount of DSA book, which is DSA source business, which is bringing in around 25 to 27 lakhs.
My last question is in terms of the net interest margins. They've expanded beautifully. Now, do you expect to comfortably maintain the net interest margins above your internal 3.75% floor for the remainder of FY27?
Definitely for Q2, we are very confident, because, we have a good pipeline of sanctions from banks and term loans and everything, wherein even if we incorporate all those things, I think we will be comfortably able to meet the borrowing for the next quarter also. And with if there is no increase in our repo rate or anything, I think we should be able to maintain this, because we have seen a good amount of pipeline in terms of bank sanctions. We are still having a lot of other bank sanctions which are likely to come in the coming months. So therefore, I think we should have that possible. Plus, normally our NHB sanction, which is a sizable chunk and which comes at below the bank term loan rates also, that is also expected, which normally comes around September and October. So I think, in terms of cost of borrowing, while there will be a little bit of an increase, but we will also be able to pass on some in terms of our product mix and our segment mix, and we'll be able to maintain a healthy spread, so that our guidance for 3.75 NIM, I think, will be possible. I don't see a problem as of now.
So no issues seen in terms of maintaining net interest margins as well. But thank you, Mr. Iyer, so much for joining me. Always a pleasure to speak to you. Though the stock is reacting slightly negatively, 2.5% downtick coming in on the counter. But you know what, everyone? It's just 6 days. All of us have been waiting for this event eagerly, and I'm sure all of you will be enthralled to see what's actually coming. Now, the credibility of any award, as we know, rests on the strength of its jury. And for the NDTV Profit Business Leadership Awards, the selection process was one that was guided by some of the most respected names from the worlds of business, finance, and public policy. Now, leading the jury is Sunil Bharti Mittal, founder and chairman of Bharti Enterprises. Joining him are Noel N. Tata, chairman of Tata Trusts, Cyril Shroff, managing partner at Cyril Amarchand Mangaldas, Kiran Majumdar Shaw, chairperson of the Biocon Group, UK Sinha, former chairman of SEBI, Jayant Sinha, president of Everstone Group and former union minister, Ramesh Damani, noted value investor and BSE member, and C.S. Sethi, chairman of State Bank of India. In fact, the jury was supported by Sanjeev Krishan, chairperson of PwC India, and Rahul Kaval, CEO and editor-in-chief of NDTV Group, in non-voting roles. Together, this distinguished panel brought deep expertise, independent judgment, and rigorous scrutiny to identify the leaders and enterprises shaping India's economic future. Join us on the 26th of July as NDTV Profit brings back the Business Leadership Award after a 13-year hiatus, celebrating the leaders, companies, and entrepreneurs who have not only built successful businesses but have actually helped shape India's economic journey. And this is something that all of us are eagerly awaiting and looking forward for all of you to join us virtually to enjoy the moment on the 26th of July. But completely out of time, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Trending Stocks, and this is something which is going to be trending as well, Sharad.
Well, exactly, and of course, it's thanks from the entire team who has put together this wonderful show. Stay tuned to NDTV Profit.
Superstar Stocks of the Day, presented by Tata Azura. हर रास्ते का सुपरस्टार.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो पतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार. विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी.
आपका पार्सल फिर से हमारे घर पे आया है.
कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में.
माँ भी हमेशा पी मार्क मस्टर्ड ऑयल में ही खाना बनाती थी. ये आपके लिए.
कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में.
P-Mark, the mustard specialist since 1933.
सरसों से सरसों.
We are over, Jimmy.
Hey, लाइफ में स्क्रैचेस तो आएंगे. गाड़ी के स्क्रैचेस को तो कॉस्मो पीपीएफ संभाल लेगा. आप अपना देख लो.
अंबा शक्ति प्लांट की वर्ल्ड रिनाउंड टेक्नोलॉजी देती है स्टील को ज्यादा ताकत हर बार. अंबा शक्ति SDTMT.
याद है ना मैंने क्या सिखाया था? सिल्वर के लिए स्टर्लिंग मार्क, गोल्ड के लिए हॉलमार्क और मस्टर्ड ऑयल के लिए सिर्फ पी मार्क।
इस बार तो माँ से भी बेहतर बना।
P-Mark, the mustard specialist since 1933. बरसों से सरसों। कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में।
India Inc.'s most respected names chose India Inc.'s best and brightest.
I'm delighted to be chairing a committee of such distinguished fellow businessmen, bankers. It's lovely to be back on this NDTV jury. I have been a fan of NDTV for a long time.
Many of the nominees are extremely close together in terms of what they've done.
I think it's also important that how they are reshaping the industries, commercial activities which they are into. And it's a very judicious mix of people to choose from. My compliments to the team.
Benchmarks under pressure with Nifty and Sensex now recovering from days low, though Nifty struggles near 24,170 while the Sensex sheds nearly 600 points as well. Bank, financial services and auto trade under pressure nonetheless. PSU Bank and Pharma remain resilient. HDFC and Kotak Bank trade under pressure after mostly an inline set of numbers in the first quarter when it comes to the entire bank space as well, but margin pressure continues. ICICI Bank and PNB though gain after a strong set of numbers, while Axis Bank lags as asset quality declines. And oil prices surge after fresh escalation between the US and Iran reignite concerns over energy supplies. Brent climbs above $90 a barrel as fears of disruptions through the Strait of Hormuz push geopolitical risk premiums sharply higher. Solar stocks in the spotlight after the government rules out a blanket extension of ALMM 2 norms while allowing a limited transition period for select projects. And that's the update coming in when it comes to ALMM. Parliament's monsoon session has been adjourned amid ruckus and heightened security arrangements. The opposition is seeking discussions on issues including question paper leaks and other key issues as well. The session was adjourned until about 12 p.m. and has just about resumed. Good afternoon, you're watching Lunchtime Trades with me, Shreyansi Singh, and this is the show that gets you a roundup in terms of everything that is happening in the world of commodities, news and updates as well on the top buzzers at this hour, all while you grab lunch. But before we do that, let's take a very quick look at the Nifty 50 and where it is right now. Slight bit of recovery that you've seen really coming in from the day's low. You can see that really reflecting when you talk about Nifty 50, but also Sensex as well. That's also seemed to have recovered from that day's lowest point as well. Slight bit of uptick coming in. Nonetheless, about 600 odd points lower, and that's the Sensex for you, still hovering very close to that day's lowest point as well. And when you talk about the entire sectoral picture, it's actually tilted surprisingly in the favor of green as well in terms of some of the sectors that are holding on to some bit of resilience. In fact, a little bit of a mixed picture is something that you're looking at. Financial services on the back foot, Nifty Bank, Nifty Auto, as well as Realty and India Defence, as well as IT, all of those sectors a little bit on the back foot right now. What's doing quite well in terms of resilience right now is something like Nifty, Pharma, PSU Bank, Media, Energy, as well as Metals. So those are the sectors that are holding on to some bit of resilience right now. When you talk about the entire broader market space as well, that entire pack is doing better for itself than are some of your benchmarks as well. So that's largely the kind of update that you have coming in when you talk about some of the sectors as well. When you quickly talk about the list of gainers and losers as well, it's actually quite interesting to see some stocks like Gabriel India or Aegis Logistics, some of those counters that are buzzing away in trade. But when you talk about the entire Nifty 50 pack as well, some bit of resilience really reflecting through in stocks like Cipla, Trent, GSW Steel, ONGC, Bharti Airtel and Nestle that are holding on to some bit of resilience. On the flip side, what's trading under pressure right now is some of your banking counters. So some of the counters like Axis Bank with a 5.5% downtick, HDFC Bank after the numbers, some bit of concern really raised in terms of the margin expansion trajectory as well, and that's something that's sharply in focus after a largely inline set of numbers, but 5% lower. That's HDFC Bank, and a key drag coming in when you talk about the Nifty 50 as well. And Maruti Suzuki, some of the other banks as well, Kotak Bank, that's also trading under pressure. It's very important to note what's going to be happening in terms of the change of guard as well. And you do have Ashok Vaswani at the helm, who's going to be handing over his authority as well later, and not a lot of clarity that really emerged. That still is a little bit of an overhang that you're looking at in terms of some of the commentary that has come out for Kotak Bank as well. And other than that, something like a Jio Financial Services, SBI Life, as well as Shriram Finance and Bajaj Finance. So a lot of finance names really in focus. And speaking of finance and banks as well, let's also talk about Indian Overseas Banks. That bank that has reported its numbers, and they're reflecting on the bottom of your screen. So when you talk about the profit figure, you're seeing quite the sharp uptick coming in. Same about the stock as well, about 4% higher right now. When you talk about the profit figure, that's where some of that gain has really come in terms of what really stands out for the first quarter as well. So as you can see on your screens, about 49.3% higher coming in terms of the profit figures, 1,659 crore rupees versus 1,111 crore rupees. That's what you're looking at in terms of the profit figure. When you talk about gross NPAs, 1.33% versus 1.42%. That's what you're looking at on a quarter-on-quarter basis. When you talk about net NPAs as well, 0.18% versus 0.21% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. So that largely is the update coming in. But, the NII number is the real standout as well, with that 34% uptick. And we'll keep getting you all of those details. What really stands out is that high double-digit profit figure and the NIIs that have seen that sharp uptick as well. But, speaking of sharp uptick, let's also talk about oil prices that have seen quite the appreciation coming in terms of the price levels. When you talk about Brent, 2.5%, almost 3% uptick is what you're looking at. Very close to $91 a barrel. And when you talk about WTI as well, close to $85 a barrel, but 2.5% uptick really coming through for WTI as well. Let's also get you some more insights. In fact, Kunal Shah, Head Commodities Research at Nirmal Bang, is joining us right now. Thank you so much, Mr. Shah, for taking time out and joining us on the show. It is very interesting when you talk about oil prices right now, because that $90 a barrel level is something that we were talking about last week as well. And, the escalation has really gotten that level yet again back in focus. What are the key levels from here on that you're really tracking at this point?
Okay, so I think if you look at the fundamentals right now, there is a major issue going on with the product market. So there is a shortage in diesel, there is a shortage in petrol, that is gas oil, and the product market is very tight. And one of the major reasons for that is a lot of refineries have been shut down in the Middle East, in Russia, in other parts of the world. So more than the crude oil demand, the product demand is very strong, and that is driving the energy prices, number one. Number two, now regarding the escalation. So as far as the geopolitical thing is concerned, at $91, a lot of these positive developments from the crude price point of view is discounted. So I think another $3 to $4 of upside maximum, $94, $95. That's what we are eyeing in a shorter term right now. The fundamentals are not bearish, they are bullish. And looking at the way US and Iran, both are the way they are retaliating at each other and the other allies of the US. So I think considering if anything goes wrong for a while, oil can really shoot up abruptly. So no point in going short right now. Buy the dip, and that should be a strategy, and stay long until there is any positive resolution regarding the ongoing conflict.
No, absolutely, and there seems to be a lot of factors that we're really watching out for. You do have the Red Sea shipping threats that do persist, and some bit of commentary has really come out for that as well. There's still the escalation that is, it looks like, here to stay right now. You do have Hormuz transit that is really in question as well in terms of some of the volumes that are trickling out of the Strait of Hormuz as well. So against this entire backdrop, are you then perhaps penciling in higher for longer oil prices? And is that something that's yet again baked into the pie then?
Well, if oil prices continues to hover the way it is hovering right now, the likelihood of it going up is very high. And if there is no de-escalation, then why oil should go down? Because again, the traffic at Strait is almost turning nil. So when there was a ceasefire, you were seeing 40, 60, 80 tankers. They were basically getting. So I think right now, one should wait, and see the development, what kind of development which are taking place in crude oil, and then determine, whether this is the only one trigger which is there in the market is ceasefire talks materializing, and that as of now, no chances. So my take is that oil $95 Brent and $90 WTI very much possible in shorter term. So stay long till then.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for helping us out with those exact price levels as well to really watch out for when it comes to oil prices. And it's just a stone's throw away when you talk about the escalation as well. So it is very much in sights when you talk about Brent and WTI as well, for that matter. But let's also talk about gold as well in terms of, watching out for catalysts. That's something that you ought to be doing for gold prices that seem to be awaiting that little bit of a catalyst right now, right? It's steady, close to that key $4,000 announced level as well. And that's key to really watch out for. But going forward from here, what do you expect for the rest of the week then?
See, the narrative so far was higher oil prices, higher rate cut, and that's why gold should go down. That's done. Because already gold prices have corrected from $4,800 to $4,000. So right time to buy gold. Right now, the only thing which is certain is looking gold. Because you saw what Mr. Trump was saying. He was again planning to put a sanction on Russia, Iran, and whoever buying oil or buying commodities from them. I think this kind of talk will again, reignite the central bank demand for the gold. And at $4,000, nothing to lose. So the highest alpha conviction call here is go long in gold. Don't worry about this volatility. You brace it, and the directional view from here, it definitely looks to be on the upside.
Absolutely. And speaking of the upside that is in store as well, and some of those calls, just really quickly wanted to try and get a sense of if you think this sentiment also extends, to physical gold buying, to also the domestic market that you see in steady shape. Usually you do have prices that move in tandem, but that's been a little bit of a concern as well when you talk about the domestic prices in the country. Lots of volatility, lots of factors, lots of government announcements as well that you're tracking when it comes to gold prices in the country. So against that backdrop, physical as well as, domestic buying for gold, what is your call there?
I think looks pretty strong. Looking at the way in India also, the festive season is just about to start in next 1.5 months. August onwards, the festive season starts. And I think that will be a time when people will start buying gold, start stocking gold for the season. So I see physical demand also improving going forward, number one. Number two, on the futures front, we believe that the stronger physical demand will lead to a higher future prices because that has been a laggard. And number three, central bank buying is likely to accelerate in days to come. So gold looks absolutely poised to buy. I don't think so there's going to be any rate hike. Even if there is a quarter basis point of rate hike, it is purely discounted. So the road looks very clear from here. And the bulls are likely to take a charge of the bullion market.
There is some very, very upbeat commentary as well. So anybody who's listening in right now should have their to-do list as well ready. Kunal, just wanted to also try and understand what you think about central bank buying as well, because Goldman, in fact, has come out with a very interesting note where they're talking about how the actual reported figure is actually China's gold buying is actually 5 times more than the reported figure as well. And they've been flagging that for quite some time as well. Do you think that central bank buying, be it through China, Poland, and other countries, seems to be really ramping up now?
See, you just think from the central bank point of view for a moment. Okay, if I'm a central bank, and if I'm having an additional foreign exchange built up in my books, in my asset side, and if I have to deploy that money, where I'm going to deploy that money? Japanese bond? The answer is no. US bonds? The answer is no. Both are having a tremendous amount of debt. Europe, no. UK, no. So where I'm going to put my money? Where I see safety? I don't think so. There's the biggest safety right now in the world, which central banks foresee, that is in gold. And like Poland, they came up with a statement that they have to buy another 100 tons of gold going forward in times to come. China, why to keep money in US Treasury? Why they would keep money in US Treasury? So, for example, if PBOC sells $100 billion worth of US Treasury and they'll buy gold or other commodities. So that makes more sense, because at $40 trillion US debt will be $40 trillion in next 2.5, 3 months. So at $40 trillion at 4% interest rate, what is going to be their debt servicing cost? So their debt servicing cost will be much higher than the defense cost. So this is the state of the US fiscal scenario.
Yes.
So you
And
have
Kunal,
to remain in gold.
the ECB also very much agrees with you as well, because as of 2nd June 2026, they've also called this fact out as well in terms of gold officially outpacing US treasuries as well to become the world's largest reserve asset as well. So very much in line with the kind of data that seems to be reflecting this strong upbeat sentiment as well. Thank you so much for taking time out and joining us this afternoon in terms of the update coming in and how to really be pricing in the changes in terms of the market. And he's saying that the bullion market is going to be looking at the bulls really taking charge. And if you're waiting for fresh buys, now's the time when it comes to gold. Now, let's also move on and talk about Waaree, that is in focus. After commissioning its BESS container facility, securing an additional solar module order, and impact from the extension of ALMM2 exemption as well. In fact, you did have Neeraj Shah who spoke to the management of Waaree Group. Let's go across and listen in to a slice of that conversation.
First the industry news, then the company news, Abhishek. I want to start off with this ALMM2 developments that have happened. This extension that is given, the belief on the street is that if this extension would not have come, and therefore the guidelines would have come in, it would have been beneficial for companies like yours and some of the others in margins for this intermediate period of 6 months, which is July to December. Now that it's been extended till December, maybe for FY27, basis the estimates that people had, there might be a bit of a margin hit. Would that be a fair assessment?
First of all, good morning and thank you so much for having me on the show. On the extension of ALMM, I think to understand this, we have to first see which framework has been approved under the extension notification day before. The current extension only circumvents around the C&I demand, the very limited next 6 month window for those projects which are either captive or which have some few connectivity approvals. So it's not a blanket approval, first of all. It does not extend to all the projects unanimously. It just extends to the particular window. Second, in terms of the impact on Waaree, if you look at our total capacity of manufacturing of modules, right now it stands at around 25 gigawatt. 24 gigawatt is in India and the rest is in the US. Against this, our cell capacity today is 5.4 gigawatt. While we are adding another 10 gigawatt of cell capacity over next 6 months of time, but it will take another 5-6 months of time for that capacity to go live commercially. So as of now, we have both sales, DCR sales as well as non-DCR sales, which we are having in the Indian markets plus the export one. So this really helps us to keep supplying until the cell capacity comes up to the non-DCR market a big way. At the same point in time, our DCR supplies are also running at full stack scale.
Okay. Does this, though, just to understand, while your capacities are coming on stream for the existing capacities, does it impact the near-term margin opportunity? Could margins have been higher if the extension wasn't given, Abhishek?
So it would have been true if you look at a scenario wherein there is over of cell capacity, and then either it is like module capacity is lower than cell capacity, or it is partially sold off. But in Waaree's case, if you look at our cell capacity, we are already having a cell capacity gap against the module capacity that we have, and we are trying to catch it up over next 6 months of time. Another one is our overall DCR capacity also is broadly selling at and running at 90% plus of capacity for next couple of months. We are already booked. So that way we are fully secured in terms of the extension that has come.
Got it. Just one more question on this, Abhishek, and then I want to talk about your best capacity. How much of your cell and the DCR module production is booked for? For some companies, it is maybe 3 months. For some, it is 6 months. In your case, how much is it booked for?
Though we don't give this exact number in terms of our disclosure, but I can help you out with broad maths. If you look at our overall retail consumption, retail sales that we have, roughly we do 20-25% of our gross revenue from our retail, which is cash and carry. And there is a 3 to 6 months of order which are always in hand from the retail sector also. So from that logic perspective, our 5.4 gigawatts of capacity for next a couple of months, especially December or maybe March, is broad.
All right, then there you go. So that's the word coming in from Vari Energies as well. But let's also move on and talk about Indian Overseas Bank again as well. You know, when you talk about the margin figure as well as the NII figure, quite the sharp expansion coming in on both counts. In fact, Piyush is joining in with some more details. When you talk about the stock as well, given up slight bit of some of its gains as well, Piyush. But let's talk about the numbers nonetheless.
Right, Indian Overseas Bank has come out with a strong set of Q1 FY26 financial results. The bank has been able to post 49% growth in its net profit for the quarter ending June at around 1,659 crore. Now, what helped this profit was the bank posted handsome growth in its other income. Its other income stood at 2,160 crore in Q1 as against 1,481 crore in the same period last year. The bank's asset quality has also improved. The gross NPA ratio has come down to 1.33% from 1.42% last quarter. The net NPA has improved to 0.18% from 0.21% in the last quarter. The provisions have gone down a bit to 834 crore versus 1,106 crore in the last quarter. NII has grown sharply, loans and deposits in double-digit growth. Margin has slightly expanded and overall a strong set of numbers.
Thank you so much, Piyush, for getting us all of those details. Let's also talk about Indo-MIM's 3,800 crore rupee IPO as well that opens for subscription on July 23rd. The precision engineering company, in fact, plans to use most of the fresh issue proceeds to repay their debt. In fact, you do have Puneet who caught up with the management. Let's go across and listen in to a slice of that conversation as well.
We're now being joined by the management. Krishna Chivukale Jr., he is the whole-time director and chief executive officer at the company. We are also being joined by P. Balasubramaniam, vice president finance and chief financial officer of the company. Gentlemen, both of you, thanks so much for joining in. Let me first start off, with the company, right? It is operating in an industry that's, that's showing very high growth in the precision manufacturing space. Talk to us a little bit in brief about what the company is about and the key areas that you operate in.
Sure, thank you very much, and thank you for having us today. I think in terms of the areas that we operate, I mean, the company is a component manufacturer using a large array of advanced forming technologies like metal injection molding, investment casting, machining, ceramics processing, along with fine powder production. But primarily we make components.
And 3D printing.
And 3D printing as well. We are a component manufacturer, heavily export oriented, shipping to about 45 plus countries around the world across a diverse range of component applications. So we're making everything for parts for hand tools, power tools, firearms, jet engine components, landing gears, components for automotive systems like turbochargers and seat belts, selective catalytic reduction systems, components for medical devices, whether that's endoscopic, laparoscopic, or instrumentation, even in some cases, components for implant systems. So it's a very diverse product mix across the entire world. Maybe about 10% of our business is in the Indian domestic market. So, I think in a nutshell, that's sort of what we're about. I mean, we're a component manufacturer. We supply high precision, high performance metal and ceramic components to a wide array of global industries.
All right, then there you go. So that's one IPO that you're really watching out for. But in terms of what else to really watch out for, if you're planning a flight or a ticket or booking your tickets for a trip to Dubai and Abu Dhabi, you should be listening in right now, because we're talking about a letter that NDTV Profit has accessed. The ALPA India has urged the DGCA to suspend flights to Dubai and Abu Dhabi, citing rising security risks in the Middle East. Sessa joining in with some more details when it comes to this one.
Right, the Airline Pilots Association of India has urged the Ministry of Civil Aviation and the DGCA to immediately suspend commercial flights by Indian Airlines to Abu Dhabi, Dubai and other affected Gulf destinations. The pilots body says that the worsening security situation in the Middle East, including reported threats and ongoing military escalation, has significantly increased risks to civil aviation. ALPA has also warned that the aircraft could face dangers such as missile attacks, GPS interference, electronic warfare and rapidly changing airspace restrictions. It has also called for flights to resume only after an independent and comprehensive threat assessment, confirming the risks have been adequately addressed. ALPA says that passenger and crew safety must remain the highest priority, stressing that preventive action is always better than responding after a tragedy. So far, we know that major airlines such as Emirates, Etihad have announced cancellations of services to Kuwait due to the escalating Middle East tensions. However, if Indian Airlines will follow suit remains to be seen.
No, absolutely, and we'll definitely monitor that as well. Thank you so much for getting us all of those details. After a pause of 13 years, one of the most prestigious honors in Indian business is back. On July 26th, NDTV Profit brings back the Business Leadership Awards, celebrating the leaders, companies and entrepreneurs who've helped shape India's economic journey. And this year's nominees for Business Leader of the Year Public Sector are: from strengthening India's maritime capabilities to building a globally respected shipbuilding enterprise, this nominee has steered a strategic national champion to new heights. Captain Jagmohan, Chairman and Managing Director, Mascot Docks Shipbuilders. And leading one of India's energy giants through a period of transformation, growth and evolving consumer demands, this nominee has balanced scale with strategic vision. Manoj Jain, Chairman and Managing Director of BEL. Up next, let's also talk about revitalizing a cornerstone of India's industrial ecosystem. This nominee has championed execution, engineering excellence and renewed growth. K. Sadasivan Murthy, Chairman and Managing Director, BHEL. Driving the transition from power generation leader now to energy transition champion, this nominee is helping shape India's energy future. Gurdeep Singh, Chairman and Managing Director, NTPC, is who I'm talking about, and at the helm of India's energy explorer. This nominee has led with resilience, scale and strategic foresight in a rapidly changing global landscape. Arun Kumar Singh, Chairman and CEO, ONGC. Alright then, those are some of the nominees that you're looking at, counting down to 6 days, but that's all the time that we have on the show as well. Thank you so much for tuning in.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
We are over, Jimmy.
हे, लाइफ में स्क्रैचेस तो आएंगे। गाड़ी के स्क्रैचेस को तो कॉस्मो पीपीएफ संभाल लेगा। आप अपना देख लो।
पर जब इंसान प्रकृति के साथ सामंजस्य को आत्मसात कर लेता है तो वो मधुर और लालन पोषण करने वाली बन जाती है। पी मार्क सरसों के तेल ने प्राकृतिक तरीके से सरसों के तेल को बनाया है शुद्धता और गुणवत्ता के साथ।
The mustard specialist since 1933. बरसों से सरसों।
कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में।
India Inc.'s most respected names chose India Inc.'s best and brightest.
These kind of awards and jury lineup, you are truly giving it the right weightage.
The eminent juries who are here, and that itself speaks for the commitment towards highlighting the advantage which India is having. What I'm looking for in this is that we should be awarding companies and individuals who have focused not only on growth but also on bringing good governance.
Be part of jury and vote on the people, the men, the women, the companies in India who have the right stuff is a great opportunity for us.
Who will earn India's top business honors? Find out at the NDTV Profit Business Leadership Awards. India's unshakable news habit. NDTV.com.
Hello and welcome to NDTV Profit. My name is Varsha. Well, Lohia Corp is an upcoming IPO which we are going to discuss. Is a book build issue of around 1,101 crores. The issue is entirely an OFS, that is offer for sale. Opens for subscription on July 23rd and closes on July 27th. Just for the benefit of viewers, this company is a global manufacturer of machinery and equipment for technical textiles. But to speak more about this and what lies ahead for the next 2 to 3 years, we are here joined by Mr. Gaurav Lohia, who is whole-time director at Lohia Corp, and Anupam Agrawal, who's CFO at Lohia Corp. Welcome, gentlemen. Pleasure to have you at NDTV Profit. My first, the primary question is, of course, if you could, help us understand what is your business model in a very quick way.
Thank you. So we are a machine building company operating in the capital goods space for technical textiles. We manufacture machinery for various packaging and non-packaging applications. So various packaging applications include packaging of cement, fertilizer, chemicals, food grain, agro produce, sugar, etc. And then there are various non-packaging applications also, like manufacturing of geotextiles, which goes under road construction, etc. Tarpaulins and pond liners, roof underlayment, etc.
Right.
So we are a global player, manufacturing machinery. Yeah.
Right, understood. Mr. Lohia, the IPO is entirely an OFS with no fresh issue. I mean, why was fresh capital raise not needed at this stage?
Ma'am, we are a cash generating company, and we did not we did not envisage any requirement of capex or etc. So all our growth plans will be entirely internally funded, and so we did not foresee any growth capital requirement for the company.
Okay, so then how much additional growth can existing facilities support before major capex will be announced?
We are currently operating at around 75% capacity, and so that we have sufficient capacity available in-house to cater to us for the next 2 or 3 years. And so the next capex plan would happen after that.
Okay, understood. And with that, so what is the current order book and how much revenue visibility does it provide for you?
Ma'am, the order book at the end of March was something like 1350 odd crores, and so we are expecting a revenue of so we did a revenue of around 1750 odd crores in the last FY.
Okay, understood. Sir,
just to clarify on this, please go ahead.
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
So basically, the last year end we were at around 800 crore order book. This year we closed at around 1300 crore. We did a revenue of around 1700 crore last year. And since our is a short cycle order book, we generally tend to execute orders within the period of 6 to 8 months. So we believe that ongoing order book will be sufficient to take us to a growth path this year.
Okay, understood. And Mr. Agrawal, there was a good strong spike when it comes to your EBITDA margin, which currently, if you see, it's at around 90% odd. Will you be maintaining, or are these EBITDA margins sustainable? For maybe for the next 2 to 3 years, or you are expecting some kind of inch up there?
We are definitely looking at some kind of inch up there, because our revenues are a mix of domestic revenue and exports revenue. Exports revenue are a better margin revenue, since we exports is a big contributor to our revenue. We export to around 100 countries currently, and we believe that as exports grow, our margins will inch up.
Okay, understood.
Well, that was the management of the new company that will be coming out with its IPO. Now, if you look at the market, yes, we are close to around 100 points down in trade. But the good point is that from the day's lowest point, we have recovered over 100 points. The day's low was around 24,135. We are currently trading at around 24,240. But one of the key factors what led to this recovery is the fall in crude oil prices. And that is one of the reasons why the benchmark has recovered in trade. If you look at the indices here, most of the indices are trading in red, Nifty Private being the worst contributor, down around 2.5% in trade, largely because of HDFC and Axis Bank. And on the flip side is the PSU Bank Index, which is the top performing sectoral index in trade. So clear shift of funds that we are seeing from private to PSU banks coming in. Apart from that, it's Nifty Pharma and Nifty Energy, which are also up close to over 1% in trade. But when it comes to the mid and small cap space, a good day. Despite the fall in overall market, Nifty and small cap, mid cap and small cap indices continue to trade in the in the green. But Varsha, which are the key stocks here that have been buzzing?
Well, a good set of stocks buzzing, of course, on the back of Q1 FY27 numbers, and of course on volumes as well. You have Beta Drugs, strong volumes there. Tattva Chintan, very good set of numbers, though sequentially, if you see, margins have declined due to delay in passing of the raw material cost, but overall year on year a very good set of numbers, and Tattva Chintan is actually buzzing on the back of its 18% stock is up. Pansari Engineering, again on the back of Q1 numbers, good realizations over here also. Strong numbers that the company has posted. Stock is up almost 17%. You have Cross, strong volumes there. Turtle Mint is also buzzing on the back of Q1 numbers, strong numbers there, and DCM Shriram is also buzzing on small cap on the back of strong volumes. But one stock which is in focus is of course Concord Control System. Lot of triggers actually working for this company, if I were to ask, and to decode what are the opportunities when it comes to Kavach and different kind of segments. To speak about that, we are here joined by Mr. Gaurav Lath, who is a joint managing director for Concord Control System. Sir, welcome at NDTV Profit. Pleasure to have you. My first question, of course, would be just wanted to understand the scale and roadmap of Kavach development in India, and what opportunity lies when it comes to Concord Control.
So, thank you so much for having me here. I think Indian Railways story today is no longer just adding more tracks or more coaches. It is about making railway network more safer, smarter, and more intelligent. And we believe Concord is well positioned because we operate exactly in those technology layers where there are smarter railway technologies, intelligent control systems, and safety platforms, diagnostics, and advanced manufacturing, which we are focused at. Kavach represents one of the most significant railway safety initiatives undertaken anywhere in the world. It demonstrates India's commitment to making rail transport significantly safer. And from Concord's perspective, we see Kavach not as one project, but as part of a much larger transition towards intelligent railway infrastructure.
Sir, all that is great, but if you could just tell me what contribution you are expecting from Kavach orders to come into your overall order book. Currently, how much is it contributing? Going forward, say 1 year down the line, what would be Kavach contribution to the overall order book?
So to answer that question, today we stand at a very robust order book, and in that total order book of about 1,000 crores, we would have roughly about 500 crores coming in from Kavach as an order book. And as the rollout of Kavach is increasing in the country, this is bound to improve for us. And Concord is not only a Kavach company, but we are positioning ourselves as a railway technology company, participating in multiple railway safety transformations. Kavach happens to be one of them, where we are positioned and strongly moving ahead.
So on that note, since you're not only a hardware company currently, if you see over the next 3 years, what percentage of revenue do you expect when it comes to software, diagnostics, monitoring, and of course life cycle services versus pure hardware company?
So when we look at technologies, I think India is going through a transformation where all these different technologies are becoming more and more prevalent. Not only from a hardware perspective, Concord sees growth coming in from all these sectors in a very structured way, more from the software or the life cycle products where Kavach is being deployed, where all these smart electronics around locomotive is being involved, and then the use of more and more real-time diagnostic and sensing solutions along the connected railway platform. So all put together, there will be a decent shift from a very strong shift from just hardware, but more data-oriented connected railway systems.
Given that currently 50% of your order book is coming from Kavach, don't you think that abundance is too much? Because in past we have seen order delays happening specifically when it comes to Kavach system. So aren't you worried about that?
So as I was talking earlier, Kavach is one of the offerings which we offer as part of our intelligent railways offerings. But every locomotive, every signaling system, every safety platform, every maintenance activity, I think day by day they are more connected, and the use of electronics and software content per locomotive is also increasing. And all this put together will support Concord's future revenues and will not be largely dependent on only one technology or one product.
The kind of growth that you're expecting when it comes to revenue and EBITDA, say over the next couple of years?
So in the past couple of years, we have been demonstrating a significant CAGR, and we always keep promoting that we will be doing 30 to 40% on a CAGR basis year on year, which we have successfully delivered in almost every result which we have published. And we foresee a similar, rather a stronger growth going forward.
I also wanted to understand on the fusion. You said that the fusion could do almost 200 crores of revenue at an installed capacity. Where are you today when it comes to the revenue of fusion, and what's the utilization levels, if you could speak on that?
So fusion is one of the strongest strategic stories which Concord is on the verge of panning out as a complete system integrator and vertically integrated railway electronics company. This acquisition is not just a financial one, but it's more a technology-driven acquisition for us, and it completes the end-to-end electronics for us as a whole. In next couple of years, we see doubling of the entire capacity from 200 to 400 crores, and with an EBITDA of at least 25 to 30% coming in from fusion.
Okay. As you're mentioning, 1,000 crore is a total order book right now, but if you could just give us some sense on what is the total total worth of orders for which you have already placed bids, and usually in past, what has been the success ratio for the company?
So it's very difficult to put a number to it, because as the Indian Railways is shifting. The government focus is shifting from the civil infrastructure, which was earlier there, to more of a more connected and a safer railway platform. Day by day, the deployment is becoming faster in the railway industry. And because of that, multiple orders and bid opportunities are being created for Concord. And we are participating many of them, where we see that there will be a significant growth coming in near future.
And also, I wanted to understand on the green mobility. You demonstrated India's first indigenous battery locomotive retrofit. What commercial opportunity pipeline has emerged since that demonstration, and are discussions, limited to pilots or progressing towards, I would say, in a fleet scale deployment?
So, I think the green mobility as a space is going to be more and more prevalent. The most important aspect is that today, globally, railway mobility is moving towards the direction of green mobility, hydrogen-based solutions, hybrid solutions, battery solutions, and alternative fuel cell solutions. And India is wisely developing these capabilities across multiple technologies rather than depending on a single solution. Concord wants to participate in this transition through the entire propulsion electronics, control systems, and the battery integration, which we are already a very strong contender of and are extremely focused in this direction.
Understood. Thank you so much, sir, for joining in and having a conversation with us. Pleasure to have you at NDTV
Thank
Profit.
you so
Thank
much.
you so much. With that, let's also invite Narendra Solanki, who's a Senior VP and Head Fundamental Research at Investment Services at Anand Rathi. Narendra, what's your view when it comes to Concord control system, considering it is moving from a hardware company to software, and Kavach coming up in their segment? So just wanted to understand what's your view on this counter.
Yeah, good afternoon. First of all, let me start with my disclaimer. We do not have any active recommendation on this stock. Having said that, I think we are very positive on the sector. If the modernization of the railways are concerned, as far as the modernization, then the railways are in a very aggressive capex mode, and especially the Kavach 4 system, which is right now approved for installation. If you see the overall market size for this Kavach 4 system is somewhere around 45,000 to 50,000 crore, of which around 70 to 80 lakhs per locomotives, and there are around 10,000 locomotives, and there is 50 lakh per kilometer kind of track modernization which is going to happen for this Kavach 4 system installation. And there are very few companies in India going to implement that, and this company is one of them. So there is a huge headroom for the growth looking at the size of the company. Now, two critical things investors should keep watchful of. One is because it's a government-sponsored scheme, so there may be some lumpiness in the order booking activity, so that may impact the company, and it's a cyclical nature, so that cyclicity should also be kept in mind. And the working capital days are generally longer for these kind of projects. So these are the operational execution issues which the company should be able to maintain. And if it does so, then I think growth-wise, there is very good opportunity for this company in Kavach 4 system.
All right, got that view. Well, viewers, time for a quick short break. Stay tuned to NDTV Profit.
Superstar Stocks of the Day, presented by Tata Azura. हर रास्ते का सुपरस्टार.
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार. विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी.
We are over, Jimmy.
हे, लाइफ में स्क्रैचेस तो आएंगे, गाड़ी के स्क्रैचेस को तो कॉस्मो पीपीएफ संभाल लेगा, आप अपना देख लो।
याद है ना मैंने क्या सिखाया था? सिल्वर के लिए स्टर्लिंग मार्क, गोल्ड के लिए हॉलमार्क और
मस्टर्ड ऑयल के लिए सिर्फ पी मार्क।
इस बार तो माँ से भी बेहतर बना।
P-Mark, the mustard specialist since 1933. बरसों से सरसों, कुछ तो बात है इस दिल में।
India Inc.'s most respected names chose India Inc.'s best and brightest.
These kind of awards from the jury lineup, you are truly giving it the right weightage. I think it's heartening to see talent that there is in across India Inc. We should be awarding companies and individuals who have focused not only on growth but also on bringing good governance.
Be part of jury and vote on the people, the men, the women, the companies in India who have the right stuff is a great opportunity for us.
For us, the biggest thing is trust. That's what we provide.
We need leaders in India that can help take India being a global superpower.
We got a fantastic jury and we've left all decisions to the wisdom of the jury.
Who will earn India's top business owners? Find out at the NDTV Profit Business Leadership Awards.
Good afternoon, you're watching Small Cap Bazaars. The next stock that we'll be talking about is Bhansali Engineering. The stock's been gaining after reporting a solid set of numbers. The stock is up nearly 15% in trade. Let's get in part to understand what were the key factors that led to this outperformance for Bhansali Engineering.
That's right. Bhansali Engineering is on a 3-day gaining streak, up over 15% today, and the stock has touched the highest level since January 2025. In fact, in the last 8 sessions alone, the stock has gained over 35%. So a huge momentum is what we are seeing in this counter. If we talk about the company a little bit, the company makes ABS and styrenic resins, and they have 2 manufacturing facilities, one in Rajasthan and one in Madhya Pradesh. Now let's move on to the key reason behind today's move, that is a solid set of Q1 numbers. The company saw a revenue growth of 51%, that was driven by higher realizations. Also, the PAT growth of 43% was driven by operating leverage and improved cost efficiencies. And despite all of the capex that they have been doing, the company has mentioned that they still remain debt free. Talking about the capex, let's have a look at their plans as well. They currently have a capacity of 75,000 metric tons per annum, which they are targeting to increase up to 1 lakh MTPA. This would require an investment of 200 crores, which will be fully funded via the internal accruals. The commissioning is targeted by the September of 2026, and the company expects that optimal utilization levels will be reached by FY28. This capex matters a lot for Bhansali Engineering because it makes them India's lowest cost, one of India's lowest cost ABS producers, and the domestic demand for ABS has been growing pretty fast, and currently 30 to 40% of that demand is met via import. So the company is trying to capture that part of the market right now. It will also upgrade their product mix into the higher margin ABS segment as well. So this is the entire outlook about Bhansali Engineering, and the key thing to track going forward will be, number one, if the capex yields any results for them and the utilization levels they are able to achieve in that.
Narendra, any view on Bhansali Engineering? The capital expenditure that the company has been doing could result into good incremental revenues. Your views on this?
Yeah, definitely. Right now, we do not have any recommendation, but the company has been strategically diversifying. Plus, it has just completed an exercise of debottling its one of the manufacturing plants, and hence the impact of that is visible in the results. Also, the kind of demand and the kind of industries the company caters, which caters to its products like automotive, durables. So there has been a good growth in both these segments. So there is a good growth for the company's product in medium to long term. So plus it is one of the lowest cost producers of ABS. So that also gives an advantage to the company, to retain the margins and retain the market share. So overall, the company has posted decent results in this quarter as well.
All right, got that view. Well, thank you so much, Narendra, for joining in and having a conversation with us. Pleasure to have you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, moving on, Tatva Chintan, let's pull that chart up. The stock is buzzing. This is on the back of strong Q1 numbers that the company has seen. Stock is up almost 19%. But we have Shivam to give us more details on how were the numbers.
Yes, the stock is seeing a good momentum on the back of a strong quarter one results. In fact, the revenue growth was led by the volumes, and also the segmental growth has seen a good performance this quarter, except the electrolyte salt segment, which has seen a temporary disruption, which is due to shortage of raw materials. And in terms of capex, the company has announced around 200 crores worth of greenfield multipurpose manufacturing facility, which is to be operational within 21 months. And in terms of revenue potential, the company is expecting around 300 crores if that new manufacturing facility is being operated at full capacity. In terms of guidance, the company has maintained its FY27 revenue growth guidance at 25 to 30%. The EBITDA margin guidance has also been maintained at 20 to 22%. And in terms of revenue target for the electrolyte salt segment, which saw disruption, the FY27 revenue target is being kept at 40 to 60 crores. In terms of stock performance, the company has given a good performance and in past few periods.
Good. Well, thank you so much, Shivam, for all the details. Well, viewers, before wrapping the show, after a pause of 13 years, one of the most prestigious honors in Indian business is back. On July 26, NDTV Profit brings back the Business Leadership Award, celebrating the leaders, companies and entrepreneurs who have helped shape India's economic journey. And this year's nominees for the new economy leader are: number 1, Eternal, pioneered food delivery and building a multi-vertical consumer internet powerhouse. Then you have Policy Bazaar, brings transparency to one of India's most complex industries, transforming insurance from a product sold to a decision informed. You have Nykaa, a category-defining consumer brand reshaping how millions of Indians discover, shop and engage with lifestyle products. Car Trade Tech, streamlined vehicle discovery, transactions and ownership across the automotive ecosystem. Then you have Delivery, which is a refined supply chain efficiency through technology, scale and relentless execution. Well, this is all the time that we have.